Niku, what do you mean this is how I know ZB1 is ending soon? You didn't know? Oh no. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to like Paul Revere you on that one. Their contracts ended actually a few days ago. But they've extended activities with their individual companies. Like they've agreed to extend activities until March. So like they're still gonna do they have like a final album release and stuff, and they have probably like some showcases and things. But yeah, that's it. That's it. They also they did a world tour, and I was like, yeah, it's time. And then they did not come to the West at all. They said world tour, and they went to Korea and Japan and Southeast Asia a little bit, I think. And like, which is a thing that happens with K-pop groups and J-pop groups a lot. They'll say world tour and then they'll only be in Asia. And I was like, are you kidding me? Because they have a huge Western audience. So, and they're like quite popular, quite well known. So I was like, oh, surely they're going to come to the US. I was ready to go wherever I needed to go, you know? And then they were like, yeah, we're only in Asia. And I was like, I can't take an Asia trip right now. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, I never got to see them perform in person. And because of that, I crash out daily, but it's okay. It's okay. It's definitely okay and fine. It's definitely fine. Anyway, I need to figure out if he has a personal Twitter. I only know his like company stuff. But when the group disbands, they're all going to go back to their individual companies and do their activities, whether they're going to be soloists or they're going to join like groups that are formed by their main companies or whatever it is, right? Like whatever the original plan is, they're going to do the original plan. I got to figure out if because Matthew's the guy that mooed. The moo that you guys always play, that's him. And the thing is, he has done little like gaming streams on their group channel a couple of times. He really likes video games. His room is filled with Pokemon shit, you know, like he likes cards and he loves opening card packs, but he obviously can't do a lot of that as like an idle content wise. But he did do a couple of little game streams, and it's funny because you could tell he's not a streamer because he just goes, whoa, what? The whole time. Like, he doesn't know what to say. It's funny. But I'm like, maybe we could actually get him as a guest one day. If he's with his normal company instead of the group thing. That's him right there. Moo. I gotta see if it's possible for outreach. It'd be really funny. He's Canadian, you know, he speaks English and everything. So that was a guy. Yes, that was a guy. He's a very talented artist, actually. He's a really talented artist. And then he was like, guys, check this out. And he played the Moo game. It's crazy. He's really good though. But you know, I don't know how they're all going to perform in their own companies when the group breaks up, because the way these survival show K-pop and J-pop groups work is the survival show happens. All these different companies send their best couple of trainees in that they're originally going to make a group with, and they're like, oh, maybe we could promote our group by getting one of our guys in this like thing, right? So they do a survival show. They form a group out of the best people from all these different companies, and they promote for a year or two, and then they go back to their companies. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they go back to their companies and their new group explodes because it has X member in it, right? Other times they go back to their company and their company isn't able to properly promote them, and they were once popular in this blended group, but now that they're in their own company, it just kind of like dissolves. So it's like, who knows where any of these members are going to be in a year? Like, I don't know. But, you know, I hope for his success, but, you know, the less successful he is, the more chance we have to keep forcing him to, like, play video games. So I will beg him on Twitter every day, play video games, more video game streams, play video games. You know, I do hope he doesn't end up in that situation where he has to play video games every day on stream. I don't think he will because he's very talented, but, you know. You never know. Also, your TTS got eaten. I don't know why, Taka. You said, we need him and Frederick in the same spot for no particular reason. God, imagine having to play video games every day to keep people entertained. It's horrific. Terrible, really. Anyway, I pray for his success, but if he ever wants to play video games, we'll try and get him. Okay. Sorry, I'm like restarting some of my stuff to make sure my TTS plays. That should fix it. Yeah, looks connected. Should be good now. Should be good now. Imagine Muthu became a cow VTuber. Okay, as much as I pray and hope for success genuinely, like I actually do not want him to flop. If anything happened and he was like, fuck, I gotta stream now, I will contact him and I will do my best to turn him into a VTuber. I think his face will be his brand because people will be like, oh my god, aren't you that guy from that group? It'll be like, yeah, it's me, Muthu. But I will try. I promise you, I will try every day. I'll even get him a PNG. I'll send it to him and I'll go, if you don't use this, you hate me. You know? Guilt trip. Always works. We'll see. But I have, like, the ability to contact people's management just in case, you know? I don't know if it'll work, but I could try. I can try. You like the songs? Dude, I never played the newest Katamari. And I should. I really should. I just don't know how much of a stream game it is, because I feel like it's a vibe game. They had Once Upon a Katamari that they released in October. I think I should, at least a little bit. I don't have to play the whole game on stream, but I think I should play it, like, just in general. I love all the old Katamari games. I've actually been going through and, like, replaying some of them. I want to redo the OG Katamari Damacy. I just, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. So, just chatting plus type game. Yeah, pretty much. Type shit. Type shit. Anyway, we gotta play it. The music is so good. The vibes are incredible. They do have both rerolls on Steam. I know. That's why I was like, maybe Katamari week. Not this week, but, you know, like a week. I'm already struggling because we got fucking what's it? We got Cobblemon going on right now, and it's popping, you know, like this is the time that everyone's gonna be doing the thing. So I'm playing that, but I was also like on my quest to play through Neo 2. But Neo 3's coming out. So I'm like, fuck. You know, I'm just like, fuck. I'm not going to stream the number of hours I need to stream to finish Neo 2 on stream. Because I'm like, I know I've done some long streams recently, especially before, or sorry, rather after I came back from being sick. Because every time, I have a problem. Genuinely, I need you guys I give you permission to tell me to stop on this. I tend to stream really long hours when I do a break for any reason. Like if I get sick and I unexpectedly lose some days that I would normally stream, I then find myself doing really long streams after that for some days. As if like, I'm like, ooh, there's no PTO, I gotta make up hours. This is not how streaming works. I don't need to do overtime. Yeah, you can't make lost hours. It doesn't work like that, right? So if you guys see me streaming past 8 hours, just be like, and don't do the concern post, because I just don't like the energy, oh, are you feeling okay? Don't do that. Just be like, do we really need a long one today? Just say it like that. Do we need a long stream today? And I'll be like, no, we don't. Yeah, or just halt to be like, limit. Workaholic. Well, my problem, this is how I've always been. I I always work in bursts best. Like if I start working on something and I'm feeling it, I will go for 10 hours. I will go for 12 hours. And I was always like this with my work. I would binge and get a whole bunch of stuff done and then relax for a while, you know? And I've noticed that also now is applying to streaming. It used to not be so bad, but it's been applying to streaming a lot for me, where like if I see an opportunity to add hours because I didn't, you know, stream that day before or something, I'll just be like, oh, I could just do it along, which is just like, again, not how streaming works, but I just do it. Yeah, Ryuko, that works. But yeah, just straight up tell me, like, when we hit 6 hours, yeah, just be like, you've reached your limit. A big part of it, too, is, like, the more unique segments I do, the easier it is to stream longer. Or rather, the more,
Attention, your daily allotment of Twitch bandwidth has run out.
You could do it like that. You could just go, attention, you've hit 6 hours. Please leave. Please vacate the stream. You could do it just like that, dude. And it would be so helpful. I really like, because the thing is, as well, the more I don't stream, the more time I end up putting into other stuff, video content or things to then do on stream, right? So the stream gets better the more time I don't stream, genuinely. So that's a huge factor as well. Now, if I don't have anything to prepare necessarily, then it's fine. But with time, there's like more that I've been trying to prep and everything, so it'll be good. Will Chatter's here now? Remember to be around though? Oh, plenty. Some of you like do leave early and then I get the late crowd coming in, but there are plenty of you that stay for the entire stream, I promise. I genuinely wonder to myself when I see a name here who is then there 8 hours later, I'm like, what are you doing? You know, like I'm thankful, but I'm also like, you okay? And there are plenty of you that do that. Yeah, look at how many of you are like, oop. Mm-hmm. This is one of those streams with a lot of those people. So, you know. Anyway. I was going to tell you about some stuff. I've been planning some stuff, and this is like loosely planned. I'm like trying to get together what exactly it'll look like. But something I really want to do, and this will help me structure my time better, is segment the stream more. Because I tend to do the really chill stream thing, which is hit go live and just talk, and then when I'm talked out, that takes a while for me, right? When I'm just talked out, at some point I go, okay, it's time to play a game, and then I open a game, and if I've been talking for an hour, I've been talking for 3 hours, 4 hours, doesn't matter. When I start a game, I will always game for X number of hours. You know what I mean? So the longer I talk, the more I just extend the whole stream, and then I end up going for like 8, 9, which I don't need to. So I think adding just more structure to how I do things at the beginning of stream is important. So this is part of me being on like my starting soon for a bit more time, is like the way I try to do certain topics while I'm here versus when I'm like model on screen is different, and it has actually helped me like be more, not aware isn't the word, because I'm always aware of what time it is. I leave the timestamp thing, the session timer open, you know. I don't know what the word for it is, but it just helps me segment it. But yeah, I'm trying to think of more nice ways to segment it a little bit. If you guys have any, and I know I'm saying this vaguely, but I'm saying it vaguely on purpose. If you have any ideas of stuff that you've seen or what you would like me to do for like the chatting segments to keep it that way, throw them at me. I have a lot of cool ideas, but it kind of involves getting, I can do scuff versions. It kind of involves me getting like a media team to help me make certain things and, you know, structure things a certain way, but it's very doable with the resources I have right now as well. But I want to add stuff and have a different final product later. But anyway, I know it's vague on purpose, but if you have anything that you've seen and you're like, oh my God, I miss when they used to do this on MTV or, you know, whatever the fuck, throw it at me. Because I've been looking back at a lot of stuff that I used to watch back in the day and the stuff that I liked the most and things with more structure especially. and I'm like, ooh, you know, I'm like yoinking little things from everyone and trying to amalgamate it into a conglomerate stream idea, you know?
Wrap the app. The gaming segment starts in 30 seconds.
Wrap the app is crazy. Genuinely though, we need a wrap it up emote. I think that's what we need. Is there a good one on 7TV? Or we can find a good one and then rename it to wrap it up. Oh, there's one of Crip. Do you guys like Crip? We got any Crip heads in here? There's also a good like Peepo one. Oh, Bardbo, thank you for the 5. I'm gonna send two to here, Ochi. I'll send them to you so you can see the two that I'm looking at. No, not the Crips. We're not repping a set here. We go, Jesus Christ. No, I meant NL Crip, the original Criparian of Hearthstone fame, yes. I used to be a big Crip viewer. I'm sending 3 to you, Oshi. Decide which one you think is best, because I like them all. For wrap it up. So guys, because like I love to be, okay, back in the day, I used to be succinct when I had a normal person job, because there was a positive feedback loop that when I was more succinct, I made more money, straight up. I became very succinct. I was kind of always a little bit succinct from when I was younger, but I became very succinct. And then I started streaming, opposite. I am positively reinforced to not be succinct, and I hate it. So I think giving you guys a wrap it up emote, if you see me we get it, you know? Boom, I'm gonna give you a wrap it up emote. Because I'm self-aware. I can't stop myself in the moment. All I do is finish talking, and then in that moment, I look back and I go, that could have been said in a minute, not 10. And I think this to myself all the time, and I go, anyway, and then I keep talking, you know? So I think we'll do a little wrap it up emote. Especially if it's something I've talked about before and I'm not adding anything new. Just be like, brother, it's time, you know? I think that'll be great. I think that'll be great. How about the overworking emote? What's that look like? That do be me. I have a lot of projects that I work on too that are things that like you guys won't see. It's not always like content stuff. Oh yeah, overworking is good too. It's funny because overworking is like 2 giant eyeballs looking to the right, and then it's the timestamp for the stream. There's one at 2 hours for overworking, one at 4, one at 5, one at 8. Oh, that's good. There's quite a few at like different timestamps though. What if I pick... I like one. There's one with a sus face. I like that. It says underworking. It's at 2 hours. Oh, I like that one. I'm trying to pick which one. We'll pick the 8-hour one. Actually, no, I don't like the way it looks, though. We'll pick the one that says 5. Oh, it's someone's personal one, so I can't even do it. Ugh. All right. Oshi, I'm sending you this as well. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna enable one of the wrap it up emotes. We're just gonna enable the Crip one and see how we like it. Add to Geega's emotes. Dude, you know what's really funny? Every time I go to add a 7TV emote, I am a 7TV manager for one other channel. And it makes me laugh because it starts with an M and it's a channel that is no longer used because said person graduated. And every time I go to click, I almost click that one, but it would be like really bad if I if I clicked it and my name was showing up in that chat as like setting an emo. Not like really bad. I don't think they do anything, but like it's just funny to me. Very good friend of mine. She's great. Miss her. Haven't seen her ever since she graduated. Miss her so much. Anyway, there it is. Look at it. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. It's a really good one. See, Blazing gets it though. Blazing said, I just insert thoughtful tangents to move the subject, like understack. See, that's so helpful to me. Guys, if I'm on a topic and I'm on it for 10 minutes and it's something we've talked about previously and we're not adding anything new to the conversation, brother, wrap it up, you know? Oh, brother. Anyway, I think to keep myself from repeating a lot of shit too, I've been recording so much stuff for the highlights channel that I'm nuking and turning into something else. And it's gonna be very much so just me yapping, self-edited, nothing crazy, some gameplay footage that I slap me yapping on top of, no model, nothing. And like, I'm gonna take questions that people ask me most often and just throw it there. I'm just gonna do that because fucking I get asked the same questions over and over and over, and I feel bad not being able to answer them when people genuinely ask. So fuck it, make a video, and then when people ask the question, I'll tap the sign, be like, hey, it's here somewhere, go find it, you know. It doesn't have to be FAQs only. It's gonna be a lot of other stuff too, but it'll be a nice spot for that, because then I won't feel any pressure to answer said person's question. You know what I mean? I just feel bad when someone's like, hey, really specific question that probably only you and some other people could answer. And I'm like, oh. And the thing is, it's not like only I could answer it, but like, people don't trust advice from like people that haven't already found success sometimes, if that makes sense. Even though I think plenty of those people giving advice are still like correct. Whether they can execute it or not doesn't matter. A lot of them know what to say, but still. So, yeah. Just gonna teach us how to change our oil. Dude, you know, it's a lot of car stuff used to be so easy. It's not anymore. Holy fuck, I hate new cars. Holy fuck, I hate them. You can't do anything. You can't do anything with them. This is why I like walking everywhere. This is why I don't have to drive much at all. My first car was a really old one, and I was told, like, if you can fix it, keep it running whenever, you can have it. And I was like, cool, because it was very old. So you absolutely could do everything to it, you know? Like, that shit was easy. And I wouldn't say easy, like I still had to learn it and stuff, and I had to like ask Dad for help or look things up, and that was all fine. But it was doable, you know? And I think through some of the 2000s, a lot of those cars were like that. But man, newer stuff, holy fuck. Yeah, I did ride that shit till the wheels fell off. It was that thing, my first car ever. Legitimately had multiple hundreds of thousands of miles on it. And I got it from a parent who had already put over 100K on it, you know, initially, but kept it in really good condition and liked working on cars and stuff, you know. So it was used a lot, but it was kept in the best condition it could possibly be for the amount of use. So I tried to do the same. And that shit, I beat that shit up. I beat that bitch up. The car, I mean. And I got it, like, oh man, I put like 150 on it initially. I kept using it after that a bit, but like in regular use, having to drive a lot or, you know, whatever. It was crazy. And it was insane because I was still like taking public transport a lot. It's just that when I did have to drive, I had to do these really long drives. Really, really long, complicated ones. And it ended up like I ended up putting a fuck ton of miles on it. I would also drive out to do like hiking and stuff, you know? So I would pretty regularly drive, you know, hours and hours on some weekends. And that really like that really did it. So even if I didn't have to drive during the week very much, whatever the fuck I did on the weekend, like destroyed that car. Not destroyed, but like, you know, in a good way. The odometer went crazy. Late 90s, early 10s the best. Dude, it's so true. It's so true. If you can find a well taken care of car from like 2000, brother. A lot of people mentioning Toyota, yeah. They're damn near indestructible and they take new parts totally fine. Very easy to work on. A lot of things from around that time. It's just crazy. They're meant to be used after all. They are. You know what? Oh man, have you seen this YouTuber? Oh, what's his name? Fuck. There's a guy on YouTube who made, so he has a farm and he wanted to make, hold on. Wait, I could be here now. He wanted to make his own farming equipment. Oh, I have everything turned off on the scene because I was filming something.
Do your electric cars have batteries are lithium ion and large enough where if they catch on fire, throwing them in the ocean won't stop the flames? Faction redeems chat.
So true. Okay, there we go. I'll turn everything back on. Hold on. Is this just covering? Hold on. Oh, it just covers them. Yeah, fuck it. There we go. Okay, and then where's my thingy? You. When I need to make a separate, like, I need to mirror this scene and then just take everything off it so I can record and not have to turn stuff back on. That's really the way. Okay, then I can take off some of this shit. Where are my factions? Where are my factions? There we go. Okay. It's fixed. It's fixed. Okay. Anyway, there's this guy on YouTube. Bro has a farm. And he wanted to buy equipment to farm, right? And he looked at the price of buying like a John Deere and looked at how much it's like hard to keep these things running. If it breaks down, you can't even work it on it yourself very easily, etc. Not necessarily a John Deere, but like some of the newer farming equipment stuff, right? Like huge tractors, seeders, and all these things, right? And he was like, holy fuck, what is the point? And bro made his own everything machines. And he was talking about it. And he was like, I have confirmed, I have deduced that humanity only needs like 20 machines to sustain itself normally. Therefore, I have made them and he like CAD designed all the parts, whatever. And he put them up online so you can download the files and be able to sit there and make everything yourself. Have you seen this guy? Bro is saving humanity. No, it's actually really amazing because he was like, here's some of it's printable, some of it's stuff that he like metalworks, but he shows you like, you know, if you can go to a metalworker and ask them to make these parts and give them these files, they can make it. Yeah, he made his own forklift. Dude made a lot of his own stuff, and not all of it is a separate machine. Sometimes it's like attachments for something, you know, and it's all very, very, it's all open source, all very repairable, etc. So he made all of this himself, and he's like, you only need these, I'm saying 20, I don't remember if that was the number, but he's like, you only need these 11 or these 20 machines to like keep yourself totally fine as a human and living comfortably. Here you go. And I was looking at it and I was like, this guy's incredible. This guy's incredible. It's really cool. Does anyone know his name? I found him and now I can't find it. What was his name? Guy who made own farming equipment. What's his name? Printable. Oh man, I can't find him. I will find him. If anyone could find this guy and tell me his name. What if I put YouTuber in here? YouTuber makes his own farm equipment. It's not Millennial Farmer, I don't think. It's not that guy. I don't know. All right, I'm going to leave this search up so I can find him later. Whatever his name is, if you find him, tell me. The guy was so good. All right, we have a name here with a question mark. This might be him? Yes, open source ecology. Oh, yeah. Yep. This guy has made a lot of it. I don't know if he's the exact one I saw. I have to check into it. But this is definitely like the same idea if it's not exactly him. Either way, I love this shit. I love the people are like, hey, I'm so glad AutoCAD exists and they're machinists, whatever. I'm gonna make my own everything. Fuck what corporations are making. You know what I mean? I love that. At times I wish I had engineering or electrician knowledge just to be able to build solutions. You can learn this. This is the thing, though. It's actually not hard. It's time consuming, but this stuff is not hard. It's really not. I had an old apartment that I had an issue in, and like I couldn't get them to come and repair a thing fast enough, and I was like, God, what is going on with this? So I looked it up and I found a solution and I fixed it, right? Which is cool. But if instead of doing it like that, you just learned from the beginning and you're like, how would I make this? How do I make this? And you go look up how old ones were made. You can actually like do this. You can actually do this shit. I think basic electrician work too is maybe unsafe if you don't do safety protocol stuff correctly. But if you just look up YouTube videos and they're like, oh yeah, you have an outlet that you want to like replace the faceplate on. Here's how it goes. Oh, while you're doing that, you find that the wire's a little fucky, not done well, and you want to like just kind of rewrap the stuff, redo the attachment. Here's how you turn your power off and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff is just good. A lot of the home improvement stuff is good to learn first. And then when you are very familiar with a lot of the handyman home improvement stuff, a lot of those soft or smaller hard skills rather that you learn are really nice to then apply to if you want to actually do like low level robotics, right? Like you can start to do this, or if you just want to do like machine work, etc. There's a lot you can do, but it starts with basic handiwork, and all of that can be learned through like YouTube, honestly, at this point. Go look at reputable channels, and then they'll show you how to be safe. Typically, they'll be like, hey, make sure you always turn this off, make sure you do that, etc. I do think electrical work, you're best off calling somebody because that is the most risky. But a lot of other stuff you can just do yourself, no problem. Or don't do electrical work on your own house, just buy stuff and work on stuff yourself to make little machines and things, you know. But it can be done. I don't know. I used to do robotics back in my day. That was my most favorite thing. So I feel like I've gotten to at least do a lot of like the basic machine building and everything, like make an arm that grabs a thing, can like grab something and move it around. Like I mean, that stuff is all not too bad. And then if you know how to do that, it's just a building block. There's a lot you can do from that. You know? But this is all very learnable. It's all very doable. And you just have to trial and error a lot of stuff. A farmer YouTuber got his own CNC to make replacement parts. Mm-hmm. I have a friend who has a CNC. And he pretty much offered it up to all of us. And was like, hey, if you need a thing, and you're like, I need this specific doohickey dongle, dingle dangle, whatever it is, because a part broke in something, just tell me. I have a CNC, and he has a 3D printer as well. He's just one of those guys. He's a maker guy, you know? So he'll, I remember I had a drawer where, like, the little whatever it is, the slidey bit underneath, there's always, like, a clip that goes into the rail that is there to stop the drawer from falling out. One of them had broken, so I brought the broken one. I said, make one of these. And he went, okay. And he made a new one, and I slapped that shit in. Boom, fixed. Wow. You know how many people would actually throw out a dresser because a drawer doesn't, like, work? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. So if you have a friend with the ability to make shit, honestly, utilize them. Utilize them. I'm the type who wouldn't have thrown it out. I probably would have suffered and just dealt with the drawer that kept falling and broke my toes like a million times. But this time I went, oh, wait, I have a friend. And I got him to make the part. But a lot of little things like that. So easily doable. And then even stuff like oops, my dishwasher broke. Oh, it's because this one piece won't stay up. I need something to hold it in place. Who can make that? Your friend with a 3D printer can make some shit to do that. You know what I mean? I think it's good to be in the habit of thinking about how you can try to fix something yourself before you actually like go buy a new thing. And I think with 3D printing and the number of people that have like hobby level CNCs nowadays, it's a lot easier to do that with a lot of the modern equipment where parts are no longer standard. You can just bring someone a broken part and be like, I need a new one. And it's, you know, I think there was a gap when we didn't have a lot of the stuff accessible, that like modern stuff was really hard to fix. And it's still hard to fix. Sometimes you can't get into where you need to get into. But with all these specialized parts, you can kind of combat it now that we have all these printers and stuff, you know? So it's I think it's just a modern thing we have to adapt to, honestly. We just have to. If you don't have a friend like that, a lot of libraries have 3D printers nowadays. Do they? Is that a thing? My library doesn't have one. My library doesn't have a 3D printer. We don't have shit. I'm not in a nice, you know, bougie area that might have like a 3D printer in the library, though. I gotta go walk somewhere else. Yeah, they 3D print in the books, dude. Yours is renovating and then it'll have a 3D printer? Interesting. Yours has a makerspace and runs telescopes? What the hell? This does sound suburban to me. This sounds very suburban. Which is probably why I'm like, huh? Libraries are for books. But you know what? We have other community areas to do other things. It doesn't need to be centralized in the library, you know? Your hood library is the bars on the windows. Yeah. My library is like, please stop stealing the books. Please. My library is like freaking out, crashing out on kids every day. We are not a daycare. No offense, but a lot of deadbeat parents just like drop their kids at the local, you know, the hood library, and then they just like stay there and act up. So that's what I'm used to. You know. That is really cool that a lot of the ones near you guys have those, though. That's interesting, then. That's really interesting. If the library got a working N64 or something, that could work. Dude, if my library had a working N64, it would be broken in 10 minutes because there are kids that just go fucking crazy. Or it would be stolen. I'm going to be real. it would be stolen. They have like nothing digital because every digital item gets stolen. Literally every single one. And when you walk in there, it's like a fortress. It is really hard to steal stuff from there because they have a detector that will detect every single thing. And there's like a guard. There's a guard at my local library that if a kid tries to steal shit, he'll like tackle them and be like, give it back, you know? So like, it's not the nicest library. I think it's actually really nice inside. I think they have a really good selection and everything. It's got great resources. It's a really good library. It's just the clientele sometimes require that there's a guard posted. When you ask your dog what they have in your mouth, yeah, literally. Look, I have actually watched this security guard grab a kid by like the clothing, you know, like the back of the neck clothing, and pick him up with one hand, right? And his little legs are dangling. I've watched him pick up a kid and go, where is it? And the kid goes like, my left pocket. And then he reaches it and gets the thing out and goes, okay, and like throws him. And they go up. Like, I've watched him pick kids up with one hand. Dude's really nice. He's like always there. I always say at him. It's so funny. But I've watched him many times just pick up a kid. I watched him pick up a kid by the head too one time. Because the kid's arms were full and he picked him up and he was like, let me look at your books. And he's like holding the kid by the head. Like, the kids like him too. They know he's doing his job, you know? It's funny. It's funny. You palm him like a basketball. Yeah, I mean, dude is huge. Dude is huge. Like, you look at him and you go, wow, I wonder if he's a bouncer if you just see him out in public. Because he's fucking enormous, dude. But that's what my library's like. They steal extra books. They do sometimes. They try. They don't really get the books out because they're a little bigger. It's a little harder. But like tiny little things. They have these little USB drives that have like libraries of stuff on them. So there's like an online library of audiobooks, right? Or it's their intranet, right? You can search for it and take one out. And you could bring your own device to get the book onto, but you can also like get a USB and bring it back. And they only let adults, only 18 plus, can rent those USBs and you know, bring them back. But the kids try to steal the USBs all the time because they're like, USB, that's technology. I'm gonna steal that shit, you know? And they just like try to grab them constantly. So that's the stuff that they always try to grab. Insane. They'll steal pages too. A lot of the academic books, they've had problems with people ripping out pages because they're like, oh, I need this thing for this assignment. Crazy. Your library at Xbox 360 games that you can borrow? They do. I think they do have a games library. But they don't let you take them out unless you're, again, like 18 plus. You have to be with an adult. Because a lot of libraries, you can be like whatever young age and get a library card and you can take books out. But yeah, they only let adults take out like the games and stuff like that. Because they need an adult to hold accountable. But it's just, you know, the Hood Library is a little different. It's a little different from a nice one with a 3D printer. There's no way they're putting a 3D printer in that library. It's just impossible. But there are plenty of places you can go because you're in the city. There are plenty of places you can go if you're like, I just want to use a 3D printer. They're like maker spaces and stuff, whatever they want to call them. Lucky, nice try. I have food here. He's looking at it, and he knows he's not supposed to reach for it, so he's pretending he's sleepy. He's like loafed next to it, and he's closing his eyes, and he's like, I'm not here. But he's like tilting his head this way and then tilting it that way occasionally. So he's like he's doing the dog head tilt at the food. Nucky, no. Nice try. You used to go to the library all the time on your own as a kid. Yeah, me too. I'd take my library card and go run to the library and like chill there. Because they had AC. And I either didn't have AC at all. It depends on like where and when it was, because it depends on where I lived at the time. I either didn't have AC at all, Or we did have AC, but my mother wouldn't let us turn it on unless it was above 95 degrees inside, not outside. It had to be internal temp. The thermometer on the wall had to reach 95. And then she'd be like, now we can turn it on. And we turn it on in one room. So we'd all huddle into that one room. That was it. So I spent a lot of time like running to the library because they had AC and I could just chill there. And that was the only way, man. That was the only way. With a ton of roto, there's so much sweat. Dude, it was a sauna. And when you have so many people trying to crowd into one room, and it's not big rooms either. Like, it's, you know, it's a lot. They handed out lunches near you. Oh, they never did that in my my neighborhoods. They never did that. Not once. Oh, I wanted to show something. Sorry, totally off topic. Pivot. We did, Zen had a booth. I didn't even know she was having a booth until she, like, mentioned to me this week. She literally DM'd me at the beginning of the week. It was like, yo, I have a booth at Animated Posts. And do you want to show up? And I was like, what? Which is why I didn't stream yesterday. Because I ended up doing, like, booth stuff. And she was like, yeah, you want to show up to the booth? And I was like, what the okay, yeah, I do, you know? So I showed up at the booth, and one of the people that visited us was Exodom, the artist who like draws a lot of us quite a bit. And he visited the booth and he took a selfie with us. And then look, another artist drew him and us in the selfie. Look at that. So that's the actual background, and they took the picture that he took of himself, the selfie, and they redrew it. Didn't this come out so good? I'm going to retweet it later. Didn't this come out so good? I love the way they drew all of us. Isn't that so cute? I love this. I love this so much, dude. Yeah, I like Fruit's expression too. we look so good. I was gonna go to this artist and be like, "Can you draw us again? Can I commission you?" I really like their style. Because something I really wanted to do is like when me and friends do an event, I want to get art of us doing the event like this. Because it's not like we can take selfies at the event, right? Especially if we're digital. Like some people might actually physically go to things and then they just won't post selfies, or they'll post a selfie with an emoji over their face or something, right? But what about people like me that just straight up will not go? And I'm only there digitally. Like, you know, I still want like a thing to commemorate the memory, but I don't get the photo op that other people get. So that's why I'm like, maybe I should just take pictures of things or have people take them for me that are there, and then get it like drawn in. So I still have like the image history, you know what I mean? But yeah, I like this art a lot. That's what Exodom looks like, true and real, on the right, the artist. It's funny because he walked up and Heavenly recognized him. He talked for a little bit, and then Heavenly was like, "Exo?" And I was like, wait, you know, wait a minute. And we realized it was him. I've only seen him one other time, I think, and it was a long time ago. So I was like, oh, is that him? I wasn't sure, but no, it was. And it was funny because he didn't come up and be like, "Hey, it's me, I'm Exodom." Like, he didn't do that. He just came up and was like, "What's up?" You know? It was nice, though. It was nice. It's great seeing the three of you in the booth. It was. I'm glad we were able to do it because I didn't have anything planned. But this is the hard part with cons, too, is like a lot of the time you only find out you have a booth with them for sure, like a little before the con, especially when they're giving a creator a booth. You know, they tend to like give you, if they have a leftover booth space because someone else drops, then they'll give it to you, you know, as like a free thing, which is cool. But how the hell do you arrange everything for that? You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. So what I'm trying to do is I'm getting a bunch of stuff ready for like 2026 in general. And then whatever cons say yes to me, I will send that stuff out to them. I'll get friends involved. I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna try to make it like a con circuit. You know what I mean? Like I have merch set up. I have friends set up to show up at things generally. And then when they say yes, I go, okay, go, right? And I can deploy. Because I think what I've realized from doing Hallmat, especially planning for like the individual con, can be a little, it can be a little tough. It can be a little tough to fit in timeline wise, because if you don't even know if you're doing that booth, but then you're planning for something specifically for that con, like, what a risk, you know? It's a big risk. So instead, I should just do like the thing that I suggested for VShojo that they do that they never did, which was get a catalog of stuff together for like convention merch for the year and then go around, you know? So that's what I've been working on, which should be nice. And if only one booth says yes, then only one says yes, but I have the stuff ready, you know? So that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what I'm going for. If you have extra, you can do Christmas giveaway thing or holiday store. Yeah, exactly. Like, it lets me do stuff like that. I could have friends send, like, specific stuff that they want to auction. At the end of cons, a lot of booths will do auctions of, like, little assets that they bought for the booth and stuff to help cover the booth cost. Because even if they give you a booth for free, when you have to buy, like, those printed banners and all those things, they're way more expensive than they should be. Standees, too. They're way more expensive than they should be. But, you know, since you're getting a single print of it, they charge you a lot. So, that's what I did for, like, Hall Mat, right? We're still doing that. We pushed the date back a little bit, but we're still doing the auction of, like, any last booth stuff that people might want to cover booth costs, and, you know, any excess will just go into future booths. But I think stuff like that would be fun. So, yeah. Mob flag raffle. I think auctions are just fun. And I like item rarity. You know what I mean? It's fun selling merch, but I really like doing like limited things, and then that feeling of being like only this one person gets this thing, right? Or like only these 5. So for example, like I have the Trash Mobs cards still from the EV card set, last set. And every single time I got the cards, the one called Hot Pot is mine, right? It's got like the mob faction girls, and I have those, and I'm gonna sign them. And however many I pull from my boxes, that is what I'm signing, and that's it. And those will be the only ones signed. And then, you know, then we'll probably like either auction them or sell them like at a booth or something, stuff like that, right? I like doing I don't know, like little unique items. It's fun. That's why I did the pin gacha too. We had the pins where you get the silver pin standard and 10% of them are gold. I love shit like that. Because I like trading card games and things, right? So I love the idea of like, yeah, like, ooh, I pulled the god rare, or like, you know, whatever. It's just fun. It's fun, and it's like, it lets that person have a unique thing. So I want to do more of that. I want to do a lot more of that. Limited edition. That's why I like the metal cards too that we've been doing for Horizons merch. We have every time we release a metal card, Horizons merch does this with like every card that they do for everyone. There's only 200 that they print of them, and each one is uniquely numbered. And that's it. That is all. So, you know, I love stuff like that, man. Collectibles. Help, what song is this? No one's gonna help you. There is no help. There's no help for you, ever. No one will ever help you. Get viewers addicted to gambling? Hey, man. Not my fault. If I open a loot box on stream and then you become a loot box buyer, it's your own damn fault. If I play a game on stream and I go, this game is so fun, and then you play the game, it's your own damn fault. If I watch a video of someone doing a Vegas walking tour and for 2 seconds they show a guy going slot machine and then he leaves and you start getting on the slot machines, not my damn fault. Hot take. Hot take on this one, though. If I sit there and I do a gambling stream and I sit there and I do a bunch of slots and you go get addicted to slots, my hot take, not my fault at all. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, is how I feel. Now, would I want to contribute to it? Maybe not. Is it contributing? Yes. Is it my fault? No. You can't sue me for it, dude. So joke's on you, gambling ads. I beat that out of myself a decade ago. Yeah. Yeah, I think it takes a lot of self-regulation, honestly, to be safe from stuff like that. If you've got like an addictive personality, I think you know what you got to do, right? For sure. I think that makes sense unless the gambling sponsor for you to have higher rates. That's fucked. Oh yeah, no, I'm not talking about those. That stuff is crazy. That stuff is insane. When like, now, this doesn't always happen, but this has happened in the past where they sponsor someone to gamble on stream, and the person will be like, "Hey guys, don't gamble. You know, it doesn't work. We're just doing this as a sponsor." But then what they do is they up the rates on whatever that person's on. Like if they're on a certain slot machine digitally during that thing, then they up the rates that the people watching like think it's like very lucky, you know. Oh, if I do this too, that, and that's crazy because a lot of the time the streamer doesn't even know. And this was something that was like uncovered a bit later, that was happening sometimes, and I was like, ew, that's insane, right? Like a misrepresentation of the luck. That's crazy. I think if the streamer knows about it, obviously, like that's fucked, but a lot of the time they didn't actually seem to know. Has to be illegal, like a form of false advertising? No, because nowhere in the whole thing are they prompted to tell the audience, hey, what I'm doing here, this is exactly what you get if you play this machine. It's not. So it's 100% legal. Isn't that crazy? Insane. But all gambling's rigged. It's always rigged, you know, to make you, like, it's all dark patterns. But so is the rest of the internet. Everything's a dark pattern too. You know what I mean? So it's very, like you should expect that it's all going to be dark pattern because you see it everywhere. This isn't unique. It's literally everywhere. Everything is designed to keep you engaged or whatever, right? So if it's designed to keep you gambling, okay. If it's designed to keep you engaged, okay. It's all the same in how they develop these patterns. You know what I mean? So, same shit, different industry, in my opinion. That's just how I feel on that. It's always designed. Literally everything is designed to, like, you know, get you in on it. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. And that's why I just like to play video games. Because I don't want to deal with all that. I don't want to deal with all that. Yeah, that's why casinos are almost bankrupt proof. I know. It's like everything that they do, I see people express outrage and they're like, I can't believe that they do this thing to get these people hooked on, you know, playing these games in casinos. And I'm like, what do you think, like, gacha is? What do you think, like, all advertising on TV is? What do you think short form content is? Like, right? It's like, if you boil it all down, it's all hitting the same patterns in your brain, right? It's all the same shit. It's all just like advertising and then getting you hooked on like dopamine cycles, right? And that's why I'm like, I don't blame anyone for anything, man. If someone gets hooked on something, hey, your brain got appealed to. I get it. You know, if someone else is doing a thing on stream, I'm like, brother, it's all the same. If it wasn't you, it was going to be someone else. You know what I mean? I try to give a lot more grace in all those situations. You know? When I see someone get addicted to gacha and they're spending crazy amounts of money, I'm just like, do I encourage them to, you know, I think playing the games is fine, but like getting addicted to spending too much money, I'll be like, hey, don't do that. But I don't blame them because it's like designed to get you to do that. You know what I mean? So I don't blame anyone on any side of it for nothing. It's all designed that way. What about when they target ads at vulnerable demographics like kids? You're asking me, hey, do you think it's evil to like push children down to the ground and kick them? Like, what question do you think you're asking me? What do you think I'm going to say that? It's fine, actually. Is it like mean to kick people in the stomach and stuff? Now, where the fault lies is a totally different thing. I'm going to be real. I always put the fault on, like, the final line, which with kids stuff is the parents. The world is the way it is, and we know this, right? Like, we know that everyone's getting ads shoveled toward them, especially children. This is not a thing that people don't know. So if you have a kid and you're not at least checking up on what they're looking at. And here's the thing, when a kid wants something, when a kid is being advertised to and they're very into something, oh, I want this gacha game, oh, I want this, oh, I want to buy these loot boxes, whatever. They tell their parent because they need money. They're like, Mom, I want your credit card to buy CSGO loot boxes. Mom, I want, you know, Robux, right? Like they talk to their parents about it. So if the parents are not listening, it's not like you even have to grab their device to know every little thing they're doing. A lot of it they'll just talk about and they'll ask you for because they need your help, you know, if you're the parent. If you're not listening to them and you're letting them talk about stuff that you don't know about, and you're just going, yeah, okay, whatever, and letting them ramble, brother, like, the parent is so heavily at fault. You know what I mean? Like, kids get advertised to all the time, you know, and it'd be the 90s and you'd see a sock, or early 2000s, I don't know, you'd see a Sock 'em Boppers commercial and you'd be like, Mom, can I have Sock 'em Boppers? And she'd be like, no. Or she'd be like, what the hell are Sock 'em Boppers? And then you're like, it's this commercial. She'll be like, fuck no. Right? She's the last line of defense. You know what I mean? More fun than a pillow fight. But, right, like this advertising has always happened. If your kid is talking about some shit and you don't know what it means, go figure out what it means. Like, that's your job. You can't just feed the kid and then leave them in a room and be like, they're alive, so it's fine. You know? Yeah, you gotta check up on this shit. And I know it's a lot, but you have to. It's worse right now. The kids are talking to AI and ads are about to be injected into those conversations. Yeah, but again, like, who's your kid talking to? Parents should, again, be stepping in. Like, I don't give a fuck. And I say this coming from someone who has babysat a billion times a lot of younger people in the family and stuff. And I'm very aware of, like, what the kids are into and how stuff gets marketed and advertised to them, because I see it all the time and I stop it all the time. It's like I'm constantly like, you know, some younger cousin says a thing and I'm like, what's that? And they're like, oh, I want to buy this thing because it's here. And I go look into it and I go, nope, this is like garbage. No, right? I do it all the time. So I'm very aware of, like, how much this stuff gets thrown at them. But, like, just don't let them have it. Just don't let them have it. And if you do, it's your fault. It's not even the advertiser's fault at that point if you let the ad get your kid and convince them and paid for a thing. Like, you know? I don't know, dude. You said your mom did get you the phloem. I never got phloem. I always wanted to know what it smelled like. I always did. Yeah, you said parents don't. Australia banned social media for under 16 because parents weren't doing that. I know. And you know what? Shame on all of them.
Mother, please, I need both Pokemon games and not just one. Gotta catch 'em all.
I need it. I don't know, shame on them. At the same time, though, I will mention, though, I do have empathy. Shame on you, but I get that a lot of parents might not be able to spend a shit ton of time checking into every little thing because they're busy. And because work-life balance is in a really bad place right now. I get that. So I do have that empathy there. Still, shame on you. Because you could just learn what parental controls are and be fine. But they don't. You know? Like, there are tools to make it so that this doesn't take a lot of your time. So, it's still kind of shame on them. Like, legitimately, if you're a single mom that works 2 jobs, you can still learn what parental controls are for a phone and turn it on. So, I have empathy emotionally. But from a logical standpoint, there's still, like, it's not an excuse. You know what I mean? But I wish more people used parental controls because I've talked about this before, but they're really good. They're really, really, really good. They're well made, way better than they used to be, etc., etc. You know, so much better. And I've like walked a lot of my family members through parental controls and how to use them, how to set them up, and everything, and show them everything so that they can really like give their kids devices and not be like, no, you can't have anything. But you know, lets them do a lot of stuff. It lets them browse like the store and everything, but they can't actually pay for anything because you have to use like passcodes and voodoo and stuff to get like the payment to actually happen, etc. You know, there's a lot of stuff that you can add specifically nowadays that you couldn't before. So yeah, it's good. It's good. I recommend you all, even if you don't have kids, learn what parental controls like are and how to use them on devices. And then if you have a friend who has kids, straight up, just go through it with them. Go through it with them. Because like the only way to get people to use shit is to like on the ground do it, you know? And of course, no company is going to push people to use parental controls because then they make less money because, you know, they want kids to grab mom's credit card or force mom to pay for Robux when they don't know what they are. But you should all learn about them and then lovingly force it on your friends. You know what I mean? Lovingly force it on all your cousins and all that. It's good. It's good for grandparents too. I actually did it for a grandparent who kept like accidentally clicking weird links. Just trying to close them, but then would fat finger stuff. And I was like, well, what sites do you use? And they were like, just these. I don't want all this other stuff. And they would like accidentally navigate to things that they don't want to navigate to. And I was like, okay, how about this? I'll set it up so that it can only go to like X sites, you know, this, and that. And they were like, yeah, please do that. And I gave them the passcode. I was like, if you ever need to add a different thing to the little proxy here, like, you know, here's how you do it. But I used parental controls to set it up so that they couldn't browse like around every site unless it was approved, and that way they couldn't fat finger stuff. And it worked really well. And then like I sent them instructions on how to add stuff, so if there was like a new site that they wanted to go to, they could add it, the URL directly, and then you know, the parental controls would stop them from accidentally doing other stuff. It was actually really good. And you can also use it for yourself if you are like a person who gets really distracted. You have ADHD, let's say, and you don't want to be using stuff like that on your phone. Maybe you're like, only when I go to my PC do I want to have unfettered access to everything. You can turn on parental controls for yourself, because then it gives you that prompt of like, oh, type this in if you want to do something different. It depends on what device you have, if it has you type it in there or if it just says no. But that like extra stop gives you the chance to think, so your brain doesn't automatically be like, open Twitter for the 20th time, you know, or whatever it is. It's actually really good for like yourself. I set that up for a friend because he could not stop getting distracted, and he was like, I just don't even realize I'm doing it, and I grab my phone out of my pocket and I tap here, and I end up on Twitter, and I do it every day, and I cannot stop. And I was like, is this just like an anxiety thing at this point? You know, he was like, yeah, it's just like bouncing his leg, right? Just would automatically do it. So I showed him like the parental control zone, and I was like, just make it so that every time you try to open like an app that isn't, you know, something you should be using on your phone, it goes like, are you sure? Type in these 20 things before you can access this. And that kind of kept him, like the annoyance of it kept him from doing it. So you can you know, if you can't make your own discipline, store-bought is fine. Yeah. Yep. Ooh, your friend did that and gave the password to a family member? That's good. If you're the type who would just type the passcode anyway and get used to typing the passcode, yeah. Give it to someone else. I like that. Sometimes you have to cut yourself off. Sometimes you have to, like, put yourself in the corner like a fucking, you know, little baby idiot, right? When you're trying to, like, break a habit. You have to treat yourself like you're 2 and you're grounding yourself. Genuinely. Yeah, short form content's fucked up people's attention span. They start to seem ADHD. Doesn't it, like... actually degrade things. They're still like doing so much research. I don't think we've had enough time with short form content existing to research to know exactly what's happening in the brain. But you gotta like you gotta force yourself to not brain rot. If you see yourself scrolling shorts, every now and then stop and be like, I'm gonna watch a documentary, and sit down and watch the documentary, and don't let yourself pause it. Don't let yourself get up, make yourself look at the screen, throw your phone across the room. Right? Like, force yourself to go through long form and sit there and just pay attention. And that will help. Or go outside and do something. Genuinely fucking gardening, you know? Gardening, one of the best things ever. You watch a grow veg video, get inspired, start touching dirt, you know, and start doing stuff outside, and it will. I'm telling you right now, guys, nature will fix you. This is why I tell everyone to go hiking. Nature will fix your ass, okay? And I'm not joking. I'm not joking. When they say touch grass, it is not a joke. Poop in the woods. Go make grass soup on the side of the road where you see a puddle. People have forgotten how much grass soup can save the world's brains. You gotta go outside. It's genuinely huge. It's huge. Nucky. No matter how many times you try, I shall not let you just eat this food. Nice try. You force yourself to stop watching reels because you were annoyed how much you were watching them. Annoyed yourself to stop, and now you regularly use. That's a good way to do it, right? Like, you quit out of spite. That's good. That's very good. I tell people straight up, I'm like, hey man, get a dog. If you can afford it and you can spend time with it, get a dog. Now you have to go out and take it for walks. Don't you want your dog to be happy? Take your dog to the beach. Well, let's say if you're near a beach. Take your dog to the park. Go hiking with your dog. Do everything for your dog, right? Live for that damn dog. You will be cured. You will be cured. Reading helps you. Yeah, just standard reading. I do that too. Would a cat also work? If you spend time with your cat. Last night I was playing with Wolfie, and I was like, oh, Wolfie, it's your favorite crinkly fish. It's his favorite little toy. It's this little fish that when you grab it, it crinkles a little bit. And I was throwing that shit around. Next thing you know, 45 minutes we've been running around. I'm throwing this fish. Undid any damage that any shorts did to my brain that day by just like playing with my cat and throwing around a crinkly fish. Love the crinkly fish. Love it so much. Love it so much. But yeah, definitely pets are a good outlet, because then, you know, some people need like, they need that emotional thing that forces them to do the right thing. So if you have like a pet that relies on you, then you'll do the thing you don't want to do because the pet's relying on you, right? Someone else is relying on you. But the moment they have to do something for themselves, they won't do it. So that's why pets are pretty good, right? Like, you may not go for a walk for yourself, for your own brain and your own health. But if you have a dog who's looking at you and like loves walks, you're gonna be like, oh man, and you might be more likely to do it, right? So pets are super helpful. Cats a little harder because you don't have to go outside with them. But I can be like, oh man, my cat didn't play today, and I am literally ruining his life and turning him into a fat sack of shit who has no stimulation if I don't. So, so I will play with my cat, right? I'll throw his crinkly fish around. Or Nucky loves, try to steal my food. Nucky loves feathers. He gets those feather wands and rips the feathers out of them because he's a straight up killer, and he would live on the streets if he ever got out. Like, he would survive, no problem. So I take the feathers that he rips out and I just throw them. I just throw them in the air and he goes crazy. We do that every day, right, Nucky? We do that every morning. Every morning. Sometimes when I'm a little late to stream, it's because he's in the mood to play, and we're like, I'm on my earphones in a meeting talking while I'm like throwing a thing around. I wait until he's done before I'm like done myself, you know? Right, Nucky? We played extra early today because I started stream early. We sure did. And now you're trying to steal my food, and you can't have it. Dog Strain doesn't like any toy who loves to go on walks. My dog, my old dog that I used to have, she didn't really love playing with too many toys. She only liked certain things. She loved towels. She wanted to tear up towels so badly, and I wouldn't let her. So we had one towel that was hers, and we would play tug of war with it. she was part border collie, so she was like, you know, insane. Like she was just insane. And she had to feel like she was working all the time. So yeah, we did walks and a lot of stuff, and I didn't want to keep her cooped up, so that was a big part of me being into hiking as well, getting her out there so she didn't freak out. But she yeah, working dog gotta work is so true. I had to hide things. I've told this story before, but I had to hide things around for her to go find them to feel like she was working. So I'd take a bunch of toys of hers, a bunch of objects, and I would give them like names. And she was really smart. She could recognize if I had two toys that were similar and one was red and one was blue. Not that she could always see every color. So I would still call it, I'd be like, this is the red fish and this is the blue fish, right? But they would have like difference in design. So she'd be able to look at it and tell which one was which. And she could look at two very similar things and know like what was what. And I got her to understand what like pattern versus no pattern was. So I had a lot of toys of hers that were, we had a version that was like normal, and then I had a version that was striped. And so if I looked at her and I'd be like, go find the striped fish, she knew which one it was. And then sometimes I would give them individual names too. So if I asked her for the name of the thing, or if I said, go find a striped fish, she would like be able to do it. She was really good. She was really good. So I would name things and I would hide them around, and I'd write on a Post-it what objects I hid that day. And then if she like started looking at me and was like a little anxious, I'd be like, go find the red tires. And she would go grab them, or like the striped tires or whatever it was. And she'd sniff around and she'd look for it. I put it like under couch cushions. I'd put them, you know, in weird places. And she would go find them and bring them to me. And I'd be like, holy shit. And she'd be like, yeah, it worked. And then she'd chill out for a while. And I would do that until I could like walk her. But I had to do that for her. Otherwise she would freak the fuck out. She would go crazy. I miss having a dog. I know I have two cats and I talk about my cats all the time. I was very much a dog person. But I like both. I'm neither a cat nor a dog person. Or I'm both, rather. Not more of one or the other. I just have cats right now. Like lifestyle-wise, they're easier for me, but I miss having a dog. But if I got a dog nowadays, I think I wouldn't do right by it. I wouldn't have enough time to like do what I need with it. I would only get one if I had a bunch of land I could like let it out. I think being in the city, I don't love the idea. Been there, done that, you know? Been there, done that. It's okay if you get like a lazy sack of shit dog, which there are plenty of, there are plenty of breeds that are like lazy sacks of shit and will totally be fine in the city. But I really like working dogs and stuff. And I like the challenge of training them and all that stuff. So, I don't know. Could get a lazy sack of shit dog, though. But I'm good with my cats. I'm good with my cats. They're a dog cafe. I've never looked. I should go to like a puppy cafe. Honestly, if I want to spend time with dogs, I will call a shelter and be like, can I volunteer for a day? I want to clean the cages and play with the dogs. And I'll show them my history of having worked with, you know, cat rescue and be like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. You know, and they'll probably let me. Most exotic pet, if you have infinite money. I wouldn't go for an exotic pet. I just wouldn't do it. That's just, no. I'd just open a cat sanctuary. I find people are less understanding of cats than dogs, so I would open a cat sanctuary if I had money. That is genuinely my goal. I tell you guys right now, if for some reason streaming pops off to the point where I'm making a more $1 billion, my off-ramp would be to make a cat sanctuary later and like just live stream the cats. That would be my thing. Like I would stream until I couldn't, and if I made fuck you money and I didn't have to like do anything normal job-wise afterward, then yeah, I would just do that. I would do that. My two things are I would do a cat sanctuary, and then I would open like a scholarship fund that forces me to read people's shitty essays all the time to have something to do. That'll be it. That'll be it. Would you own a cat cafe? I think if I had crazy money, I would. They don't make money. So they either need to be really lucky in that they don't pay taxes, or, you know, they have like a 501c3, whatever it is. They need to be really lucky money-wise, in that like the local area helps them because they see them as like a benefit to the community. Or they would need someone like me that would like just fund it and be okay losing money on it. I think if I had fuck you money, I would do that. I would absolutely do that. If I had crazy money and I was like gonna die with no children and have nowhere to leave it to, I would set up a trust and a whole bunch of legal documents and be like, you have to run these cat cafes until my money runs out, you know? And I would set up a bunch of legal framework and structure to make sure that happened. And make that my legacy. If I had like crazy money, that would be it. That would literally be it. Set up a trust anyway. It's like a will that doesn't suck. I know. Trusts are so much better. So much better. Does a chinchilla count as an exotic pet? Are they? They're not common. They're not super common, but they're common enough. A friend of mine, I don't want to say who it is because I don't know if they want people to know. A friend of mine has a chinchilla. It's not a creator, but someone in the space. And I demanded chinchilla pics. And they have a really handsome chinchilla. Very nice fella. Very nice fella. Cat cafe where the cats are adoptable would be a good way to go. Yeah, I think that would be a... Yeah, if I ever, like, got lucky, did something business-wise that made me crazy money, I think that's what I would do. That's how I would want to spend my time. For sure. What to call it, though, would need something eye-catching, like big gay ice cream. Oh, yeah. That's the thing, right? Like, big gay ice cream is, like, the best name for an ice cream store ever. It's so eye-catching. It's a little rage baity, which is good. You know, and then it's just a good ice cream shop. Like, there's nothing actually in there that should make anyone angry, you know? Maybe there's a rainbow painted on the wall, but everything tastes good, you know? So it's just good business. I would need some sort of crazy name like that. Maybe I name it Fuck You Cats, and it's fuck you to anybody who declaws, you know? Like, I don't know. I'll come up with something. Fuck you if you declaw cats. Right? But it'll be like, comma, fuck you if you declaw, comma, cats, woo, and then that's the name of the business. Fuck you, get a cat, right? I don't know, I'll figure it out. I'm not there yet because I don't have crazy money, and I say yet like that'll happen, but that's a big if, right? That's a big if. Do I need a copyright now? You better copyright your name right now. You better copyright it now. Lucky. Nice try. Puss House. Ooh. Oh my god. I could make a cat cafe and just name it Pussy House. Oh. I love that. Because you know people would walk past and they'd be like, what? And then it's just like got cats in the window. So it's good because it has the what moment, but immediately you know what it's about because it's got cats in the window, right? I like that. House of Pussy. Oh, that'd be so crazy. Lucky, what do you think of that? Would you live in there? He doesn't think any about that. He only thinks about food because as I ask him this question, he stares at the food. Please think about anything else, Nucky. Your cat brain is like, I know you're capable of thinking about something else. I know you're blinking at me because you think I'm gonna be tricked. Oh, look who's so sleepy. Oh, it's pretending to be sleepy. 100% just absolutely pretending. Dual strip club / cat cafe. Ooh. Cat cafe, and it's usually normal cats, but occasionally we do like drag night, and it's just like drag queens dressed up as cats, pretending to be cats. So it's kind of got the furry angle too. And we do that every Saturday night. And we do charity events each time Where like half the money goes to the performers, half the money goes toward the cast. Actually, no, if I did that, I would have fuck you money and I wouldn't need to take that kind of stuff. So I would just give it to the performers. Now that I think about it. That could be fun. You could call it pussy pussy. I know. That's what I'm saying. This is good. This is good. I like this, and I'm writing it down. For the future. All right, guys, we need to figure out ideas for me to use my platform as a creator to make millions of dollars because I need to open a cat cafe called Pussy Pussy to save the cats and also have drag queens sometimes. It's really important to me. This is my life's work. Sell out. You're a sellout. Win a Mr. Beast challenge. I win a Mr. Beast challenge. What are you gonna do with the money? I'm gonna open a cat cafe called Pussy Pussy. I'm gonna save all the cats. Dude, I think that would go crazy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Make that FNAF game about dark dumps you pitched a while back. I'm so glad you remember that because that might have been my greatest idea. Guys, what do you think about this game? For those of you that don't remember this. You know FNAF gameplay? So I think FNAF is terrible, like, as a brand IP. I think the story's, like, meh. I think it started out good, but, like, you know, all the extended universe, like, is all right, you know? But I think, the gameplay was a really good idea when the first one was released, especially of like it just being a suspense generator, but it's kind of a panic generator too, which is good because a lot of horror games were lacking that at the time a little, right? So instead, what about a game where you're sitting on the toilet and you're pooping and it's like kind of dark and you have to keep doing things to keep other people from knowing that you're pooping? Like, you have to keep pressing things and you have to keep doing, like, FNAF-esque gameplay where you have to keep managing all these little buttons and these little actions so that people don't realize that you're pooping in the stalls next to you. So you're managing, like the scent, you're throwing toilet paper in there so they don't hear it, you know what I mean? It could be incredible gameplay. Same idea as FNAF, but, like, I'm talking real horror, okay? Because there's nothing... This is real. This isn't like a story. This is real, and there's nothing scarier than, like, you know, you're in the bathroom and you're like, oh my god, they're going to tell that I'm pooping, and we just, like, I need this person to think I'm cool, right? Oh, if you get too nervous, you have an IBS moment. Oh. 5 farts at Freddy's. We should make it a VR game. We should make it a VR game. Occasionally, a kid from the stall next to you tries to crawl under. There's like a 2-year-old that a mom isn't managing well, and they're trying to crawl under and stare at you, and you have to like push them away, but you can't push too hard because you're not allowed to hit a child. You know what I mean? So you have to manage them. Oh, dude, terrible, terrible. I think we should make this game. This is a real life experience, by the way. In a lot of women's restrooms. In a lot of women's restrooms, a lot of moms will bring like their toddlers in with them, and they'll be like pooping, you know, and the kid will start like crawling under and being like, who's that? Because they do not know yet that you shouldn't do that. Like, their brain does not understand shame yet. So they just look at you and you're like, what the fuck, you know? And like, hi. Sometimes they wave at you. I've had a child go under a stall. Thank God I wasn't like actively using the bathroom at that moment. I just went into the stall. I've had a child crawl under, stand up and wave at me and be like, hello, because their mom taught them that it's cute to wave. And I was like, ma'am, your child crawled under the stall into mine. She'd be like, I'm so sorry. You know, Timmy, come here. She didn't even like reach or anything. She just was like, Timmy, come here. The kid just did not listen to her. Timmy, come here. She just kept asking for him to come back, and he just didn't. And I was like, is that all you got? like I could have been pants down shitting on the toilet and had your child like in here because he just crawled under, and all you got is Timmy, come here. I was like, come on, man. This child needs a leash, you know? I was big enough to crawl through though. Number one, America. I don't know if you've seen the American bathroom stalls, but they're like crazy. Number two, even the ones that are like a bit lower, if a toddler wants to get through and they see it as a challenge, they're gonna get through. They're gonna make it work. Okay? Because not every American bathroom stall has like that crazy, you know, gap at the bottom. But even if it's one of those ones with a little less of a gap, kids will see that and be like, bro, I bet I can make it. And then they'll try to get through anyway. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. But they do it. And, you know, if you're a person who uses the women's bathroom, dude, it's a lot. The gap at the bottom is to allow better cleaning. That's so nice of you to say. It's actually because people OD in bathrooms and they need to get in to keep people from ODing in bathrooms. But that's really nice that you said it's for cleaning. That's so nice of you to think that. I mean, it depends on where you are. Maybe it's more for cleaning in certain areas. And it genuinely is helpful to be able to just scrub the whole bottom. But if you're from the city, you know. You know. That depends. I never knew that. Yeah, because people in certain areas would go into bathroom stalls to like shoot up and stuff. And then the problem is if they're having an issue and people are aware and maybe they could administer Narcan, how do you get to them if they lock the bathroom door? Right? Obviously, you want people to be able to lock it so that they can have basic privacy, but you don't want it to be infallible because if someone's having a medical issue, you want to be able to get to them. This is also part of why there's the gap in the door a little bit. It doesn't seal completely shut. I don't think the gaps should be as big as they are, but there's a little gap. So if you need to saw through the lock for some reason, you could. It does also stop people from sleeping in them. That's also a huge issue. Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of the time it is to help people. Now, do I think that's always needed? No, I would rather take the risk and have them be closable and, you know, maybe just have the people that own the building have a little key, a little button or something that they can do to like unlock. But yeah, it can be rough. I feel like there's just got to be better design here. There's got to be a better way to allow people full privacy from randoms, but then also be able to be gotten to by someone who like works there, you know, something. Because I don't like the gap. Yeah, the perv gap. I don't like the big perv gaps personally. You know. That's also, I know some people are like, why do Americans freak out so much about who goes into what bathroom? Like, we over here have unisex bathrooms, whatever. It's because of the stall thing. Like, if I'm in the bathroom and it's unisex, right? And dudes can walk in, but like there are huge gaps in the door and you could just see an eyeball staring in. Like, you know, I'm like, no, thank you. You know, now when I shouldn't be uncomfortable, it should be okay to just have a unisex bathroom. Now I'm a little uncomfortable because these gaps are here. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how kids be peeking under. Exactly. So I think there's got to be a better way to design these doors so that, you know, you can be private from the average person. But if you've got like a medical issue or something crazy or, you know, it's end of the night and this person's been sleeping in the stall all day, it's time to take them out. You know, like you got to be able to get in there somehow, right? You know? But that was, it'll probably be expensive to have a nicely designed door like that and replace everything, so people won't. Right? There's only one way to get the money for Cat Cafe, train cats to pickpocket. Ooh, you're not wrong. Not wrong. Texas, that is a brand new sentence. I think that's actually a unique brand new sentence. I think we could mint that. Dude, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, though? Be crazy. Yeah, new NFB. I'm saving that one. I'm saving that one. Hold on. I got you guys. Hold on. B, not gonna lie. I don't know who that is. Hold on. I'm dropping it in the NFB chat. Here we go. American bathrooms sound like stuff I only thought exists in my nightmares. I do my best to, like, not use the bathroom in public places as much as possible. And I try to not hold it to the point where my kidneys explode, but, like, I really avoid it if I can. Or I try to know which places have, like, nicer bathrooms and go there. Because not every public place has these awful bathrooms. It's just, like, super, super public bathrooms that are very likely to have, like, you know, lots of randoms go in them for stupid reasons are the ones that tend to be like that more than others. But plenty of ones that shouldn't be bad are bad, so I don't know. I don't know. He said, I was fresh out of high school, working at summer camp for some extra money. We had this moment where kids would constantly lock the stall doors and leave, usually to hide their embarrassment. I would have to slide on my back to open said door. Every time I would pray, I didn't slide into anything. Ew, I know. That's why I'm saying, like, people who work there gotta have, like, a key to be able to just unlock that shit or something, man. Like, there's gotta be a way. Or at least get a little tool that lets you, like, I don't know. That's crazy. That's crazy. Selena Kyle's Catwoman? Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm just gonna be so real with you. If it's like pop culture references, I don't fucking know. One of the areas where I'm like incredibly not knowledgeable is pop culture. Now, there are certain areas where I will be, depending on what it is. But most, I'd say broad strokes, I don't know shit. You'll be like, oh, this actor, and I'll be like, I don't know what they were in. Oh, this movie, I didn't see it. This show, I didn't watch it. You know, not good with that stuff. So whenever you guys are like, oh, something, this name, it's like a real roll of the dice if I know who you're talking about or not. I don't know. I do live under a rock. I'm from the underworld, man. I'm from the underworld. We only got certain channels. That's just how it is. Do other countries have the piss troughs that cheap old venues in the US sometimes have? I'm kind of like lucky in that I've never had to see the piss trough. I've been able to avoid the piss trough for the most part. Anywhere where a piss trough would be like warranted, instead it was just people pissing outside wherever I was. You gotta check out the piss trough. I need to see one. It's like an important pilgrimage for me at this point. I haven't seen it. Seen the campgrounds and beaches, fundamental sports experience. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, a lot of the sports stuff I've done, gone to, been to, whatever, they've always been normal bathrooms or porta potties. I haven't really seen the piss trough. You know, it's a nice place if your trough has ice in it. What? Is that what they do? I mean, like, where I'm from, the beaches didn't have a piss trough. They had, like a wooden outhouse looking thing. That's what we would usually have. Which is really interesting because, it's essentially a porta potty with an open bottom that just dumps straight into the sewer. And to get clean, they just get hosed down, and sometimes there are splinters, so you can't really sit in them. It's like, so they're pretty awful. It's basically the equivalent of like when you go to, I don't know if you guys have traveled to Asia. You ever shit in the floor toilet? You ever experienced the floor toilet where it's basically the piss trough? It's kind of like that because it's so splintered and wooden and everything. So, you know, people just like squat over it. Yeah, you got those in New York. Except they're not on the floor. They're raised up like you're supposed to initially sit on it. But because of the splinters, you still squat anyway. And it's like the same experience, just higher up, which makes it more awkward. Hate the floor toilets. The fuck? Oh, you haven't experienced this? Okay, for anyone who doesn't know, if you travel in Asia, there's a large chance you, depending on country you go to, you will experience floor toilets, which is a type of toilet that is just a a hole cut in the ground rather than a raised up porcelain thing. They're often still made of porcelain. It looks like a toilet, but it's just like set in the ground. And you just squat over it, right? And a lot of the time they also don't have toilet paper and you have to bring your own. That part is something I will tell you because people don't usually tell you. And you just show up and you go, oh my God. Oh my God. Terrible experience. Thankfully, I was warned. I am aware. Yay. But I've had friends travel and not be aware and then be like, no one told me about the lack of toilet paper. Sometimes they don't even have a bidet. That's the problem. That's the problem. So, yeah, just be aware if you guys ever go traveling, just, you know, just know if you're in touristy spots, you might be okay, but yeah, be careful. Is it true that those are supposedly healthier to use? The squat position is healthier, yeah, but you can also just get like that's why people have the squatty potty and stuff. It's better than being sitting position. I don't think it makes that much difference if you take care of yourself, though. I think it still makes some, but I don't think it's like necessary. But still, shit happens. So, yeah, it's pretty good for you. No guy who slipped while squatting, he never recovered. Oh, yeah, terrifying, dude. Worst nightmare. Worst nightmare. Traveling in Asia and then falling while you're squatting. Oh no. Yeah, I've seen those many a time, and they're not fun. Not fun when you're American. But you get used to them, you know. It's not so bad if you know what to expect. It's really not. You can simulate it by living with a dude who forgets to put the seat down. I fucking fell. Oh. Hey, you know, I grew up with a lot of brothers. And you can't get me with that. I have been trained. I always look to see if that seat's there. Even living when living alone, I still would look because you get really used to it. You know that shit, it's like a 50-50 if that seat is up or down. And you know you don't want to bust your ass. You get trained. You always fully close the lid. I do too. I don't know what you guys do. I am Ashlyn, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. I always full close the lid. Because when you flush, now you're not getting nearly as many particles and things in the air. Yay, great, right? So much better. And I was told to do that, so I do, right? I don't know. I never understood not doing that, but I think people don't get to always see that visual of like the spray. When you watch a video that shows the spray, like they have a black background, they're like, look at it going into the air, and they show how far it travels. It will change you. Okay, it'll change you, and you'll be like, ooh, and you'll start closing the lid. You will. You will. Yeah, it aerosolizes and it gets just thrown in the air. It's not good. It's not good. It also makes everything in there easier to clean. Like, you still have to disinfect, but I think it's just easier to clean when you know, you're not like, oh my god, I have to full bleach everything. I still think you should, but you know what I mean. Hey, Nucky, nice try. Why the toothbrush goes in a drawer. You know what I have? Oh man, I feel so blessed, okay? I feel so blessed. I now have more than one bathroom. So one is the clean bathroom. Toilet never used. I have one bathroom that is designated only for washing up. Occasionally, I'll give that toilet a courtesy flush to make sure it keeps working, because it's not good to like leave it rotting, you know? But that thing stays shut. It never gets used. Nothing. And that is the clean bathroom. This is the strat, man. I'm telling you. Designate one for that only. If I could, I would entirely remove the toilet from the bathroom. I probably could, but I'm not going to because that's the piping already. But If I were building like my own place, I think I would have a washroom specifically that has no toilet in it. Straight up. Straight up. And then the other one would just be a toilet closet. You know? Separate toilet room. Yeah, that always seemed kind of bougie to me though, because I've never really lived in a place where I've had like a ton of space. So those places that have like a bathroom and then it has a separate door separating the toilet, I always personally thought that was so bougie because no one has space to do that here. I know that that's more common when you go to other places, but like I'm not used to that being an option, you know? Even now, like I have more space than I used to, but it's not like huge. I still have one room empty. That is, I always call it Matara's room. It's really, I call it Wolfie's room because I just have like this one room that he sleeps in that has like a guest bed if Matara wants to visit or anyone else, but she claimed it. But yeah, I don't really have like that much space where I feel like I could be like, oh yeah, let me make a toilet room, you know. But girl, content house. Yeah, I told you guys, right, that I have a friend who's like living here most of the time, not always, but like they needed a place to be when they need to be in the city. So I have a friend who lives here like half the time. They're like here and not here because they work a lot. But I have that, so that's good. But they're like across the place. So I don't know if you'll hear them. Maybe you will. Maybe you'll hear them stomping around one day, but they're usually like in another corner. But the other room, I don't think I'm gonna fill it with a person. I think I'll probably just leave it as a guest room. Yeah, I'm their crash pad. Well, they're like me, where they like to sit in a room on a computer, and thing is they don't stream or anything, so they don't make noise. Like, might as well be living with a ghost, you know what I mean? Which is perfect, because I like my space, for sure. But it felt wasteful to have, like, this spot. You just acquire a person, show them into a room. It's a friend that, I have, like, Zero, thank you for the raid. I've crashed with them a lot before for, like, work reasons, especially. They used to live across town, a long time ago. And so if I was doing work up in some spot and it was late and I just didn't want to like travel and the weather was bad, I'd be like, you got that futon? You know? So same thing. Yeah, returning the favor. Well, they no longer like fully live close by. So it's like, you know, if I'm working in this area and I want a place to crash nearby, I will pay you to crash. So it's like a little more than a crash pad, but not like full time. You know what I mean? It's a nice thing because yeah, they're built-in cat sitter. Like sometimes they can go pet the cats, which is good. Etc. etc. You know, I got that futon. Yeah, I mean, I also have a futon for the guest room, Matara's room. It's a really bougie futon, so. Imagine you feel safer having some there, especially in the city. I wouldn't say especially in the city. I actually feel safest in the city rather than anywhere else because there are people around. I don't think being in the city makes me feel unsafe at all. It's more so just living alone in general, where I'm like, But I also, you know, I don't want to describe my living situation too specifically, but like I have people I could go to immediately if I had an issue, like immediately. And I'm close enough to people that if I just like scream at a certain wall, you know, if I scream at a certain wall, they will know, right? And they will immediately be in here within 10 seconds, you know? So for my own safety, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty aight. I think I'd feel more unsafe if I were like living alone and I were in a middle of nowhere area. Because yeah, even if you like bat signal, who's going to hear it? Who's going to come by, right? Because I kind of subscribe to the idea if someone wants to do something, they're going to do it. Like you could have a house that's standalone in a rural area and you could be like, oh, there's no one around, so no one's going to get me. But if someone finds out where you live, they're going to get to you and it's going to be like longer for police to come by. No neighbors are going to hear, whatever. Whereas if you're in density and there are people who will absolutely hear you, if you start yelling at, you know, a wall that you share and stuff like that, that's like, I feel way safer like that personally. personally. Also, it's like really hard to get into here. Like, if you did, I would be very surprised if you're able to get in here in any capacity, because you have to get through a lot to get here, you know? So it's I feel better in density personally. I think it's safer. I think it's safer. That's why a lot of creators, I think lifestyle-wise, it would make sense for them to live in the middle of nowhere because you can save a lot of money that way. But a lot of them don't. And people always be like, why don't you save all that money and move to the middle of nowhere? But like, if your name is known, especially if you're one of those creators who shows your face, stuff like that, you are so much safer in a city because people are nearby. So if something happens, you can have physical bodies nearby to help you. Because even if you can call police, whatever, if someone has 10 seconds to try and run up to you and stab you, they could do it, right? So yeah, I think the density thing, that's why a lot of creators like to live in denser areas, or yeah, they move to LA, or you know, that area of Texas that all the streamers live in and stuff like that. It's like having people nearby is pretty important for your safety. So that's why I went for pretty good density personally. I think it's just safer. If there's nobody around, there's no way to witness you burying the intruder. This is true. This is very true. No one would know. No one would know. No, I like the density though. And I'm, you know, I won't describe too much, but I'm in a scenario where if you tried to bother me, you would bother lots of people and they would all kill you probably in Minecraft. So it's like, you know, I'm chilling. Hi, YouTube chatter. Welcome. Welcome. So it also implies that some people enjoy living life in the middle of nowhere, cities where some people are most comfortable. Yeah, we all have our preferences. I'm definitely a more comfortable in density type of person. For sure. Absolutely. I just like that. But that's me. That's me. Do whatever you want, whatever you prefer, you prefer. I will always say how I think cities are better and I think density is better, blah, 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 because that is my personal opinion. But I know some people will like totally disagree and be like, nah, I feel safer in a rural area, this, that, the other thing. That's fine too. Go there. Go there. I like being here, you know? Streamer towns are quite the concept. I think streamer towns would be cool, but I think they're also a great way to completely lose touch with reality. Like, I think it's actually so important as a creator to ground yourself by going and talking to people that are not also content creators and going and living life in a normal place, which is another reason why I like density, right? You have to deal with all these people that are different from you. You're not in that creator bubble or anything like that, right? You get to hear people talking about their lives and their days and everything, and it just keeps you in reality, I feel. So that's what I really like. When content creators start living in creator houses and they only do things with other content creators and they don't really hang out with non-creator friends, I feel like they all end up in that fucking like weird surreal headspace where they start doing stuff on stream where you're like, this person cannot be real. It's because they're not anymore. They've completely lost touch with anyone normal, you know? Like I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. So I do have my creator friends, but I try to spend a lot of time with people that don't do that. Or maybe they're like adjacent to that community, but they themselves are not a creator very much, you know? Or they're a small creator and they still have a normal job, right? I spend a lot of time there because I don't want to not be normal. You know what I mean? Like, you could be quirky as much as you want, but you gotta keep touch with like what the fuck is going on. I don't know, because that would feel weird if I was like talking to chat all the time and most of you have very normal non-creator lives, but then I don't know shit about it anymore. Like I've lost touch with it and I'm detached. Like it's I don't know. It's weird. It's dystopian. I don't like it. No, thank you. No, thank you. Just put them around accountants or people from the DMV to ground them. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think streamer house seems cool, but it might be like my own personal worst nightmare. Being a content creator seems exhausting, boss. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I think with, I don't know how to describe it. Like when people say this job is hard, sometimes content creators get flamed because they'll be like, this is the hardest job ever. You guys don't understand. The word isn't hard. Exhausting is the word. It's very time consuming and very exhausting, and it has unique challenges. I still wouldn't say it's harder than other jobs necessarily, but it has unique challenges that come with it. And yeah, crazy mental taxation. A lot of people genuinely ruin their mental health doing it in ways that they don't in other jobs. And you're never not working, right? So I think it just depends on the person. Some people, it will be the hardest job for them. Other people, it won't. That's it. Oh no, I gotta play video games and make millions all day. The problem is there are only some people that can do that. It's only like the top 50 to 100 streamers that can just play video games and make millions. And a lot of those ones also are like big YouTubers. So they do other like recorded work, scripting, etc. You know? Most streamers, even in like the top 1,000 revenue, whatever, still are not making millions. You know, like they're not making $1 million in a year. They're not. And even if they are, they probably have so much overhead that it doesn't, the take home is not as crazy as you think. I know a lot of VTubers, their take home is like not that good. It's not that good. So even if their revenue from what they do is very high, the overhead for VTubing tends to be very high. And yeah, it becomes small business owner moment. So if they write on paper, I made 200, I made 300K this year or something, you're like, holy shit, that sounds incredible. But then their take home sometimes, because the amount of expenses that go out to do everything that they're doing, like sometimes it's crazy. Yeah, they're paying other staff. So sometimes they're supporting other people's salaries too. Full-time video editor, how much do you think that costs? That's an entire salary for a person, right? Stuff like that. And that's just one part of the team, their management, etc. Yeah, no medical, no retirement accounts or anything either, right? So it's like, it looks like you make a lot on paper, but then the amount that goes out for very valid reasons, even if you do penny pinch of it, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of nutty. Lucky, stop. Lucky, hey. Hey. You're going to sit on my lap or you're going to go into your bed. You're banished from the desk. Banished from the desk. There we go. There we go. But yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot who talk about still having their full-time job. Yeah, a lot of people that when you look at them, you think like, oh, they look pretty successful. Like they're successful in that they've gotten lots of people to watch them, but that does not mean that they make a lot of money, you know? Or making money and keeping that money at the end of the year are very different conversations, right? So sometimes they do actually have like really good revenue coming in, but the profit and what they can keep is very little. Which is why I get a little scared when I see them like going on all these trips and doing all this stuff. I'm like, hey, how much are you taking home? Some of them are taking home more than I think, but some of them are not, you know? It's a little crazy. It's a little crazy. So people who do YouTube as their main content seem more miserable, if only because you have to continually think of shit to pump out constantly. Yeah, you have to really love it. I think you have to really love it to want to be a content creator full time. I think doing it part time can still be really fun. I think doing it full time can be fun if you can like segment out your time. I think streaming is one of the less lucrative ones because there's no like passive income, but it's more bearable because you get like real time social interaction. So it's a little better. If you just do YouTube, you're sitting alone in a room recording and scripting, and then editing and reviewing whatever. And it's like not much interaction. And then you put out a thing and you're like, God, I hope they like it. And then maybe it gets views, maybe it doesn't. Right? Like it's so, that's mentally taxing. It's mentally taxing all that you go through for something that might not even get picked up by an algo, right? That's tough. And there's a lot of other things that make it mentally taxing, but just that alone gets to a lot of people. Like that's the part that really gets to them the most, I find. Is that you could put the same amount of effort into two things and one might work, one might not, or both might not work. Or people start to have mental crises when like they put their life's effort into this one video and they put so much into it and they're so happy with it and they send it and then it like doesn't do that well and they lose money on it. And then some stupid meme that they made pops off and makes them like get so many views, and they put like no effort into it, but then they also don't know how to recreate it because it wasn't their passion. You know, like that sends people spiraling. It gets them spiraling so hard, you know, because you're like, I don't know how to recreate this, and I don't know why this one popped off exactly, you know. It genuinely like sets people off. It makes them doubt themselves. It creates this type of self-doubt that you don't get anywhere else. It's insane. It's always the loafer shit that goes viral. That's why, you know, my strat is when I want to try something out, I have all these high effort ideas and I go, no. And I put them on the back burner, or I work on them but let them go slow. And I try to put out my low effort ideas first. Because if I find something that works that's low effort, I should do that. If I always chase the like high effort thing that's perfect in my mind to do and that works out, that's great, but like I'm going to lose all of my money making it. So it's not sustainable. So those should become the passion projects, right? And then the lowest common denominator, the thing that works but takes the least money and effort out of me, is the thing to have to pump out, right? So I always like stuff that I really want to do, but it's high effort and takes a lot of money. I try to like push it back because I'm like, I think it'll do well, but in my friends' experience that are like YouTube creators, it doesn't, you know? So I'm like, as good as I feel about this, I should push it back. I should still work on it for my own fun, right? But I should try to take like, or I try to take the idea and make a simpler version of it, right? Just make a simpler version. And that is worth so much more for you if this is your livelihood. And then, you know, if that works, if you have something that works, great. Now you have money and time to do the passion project as well. Right? So it's like you can sustain it and still get to do the thing you like. You just have to do it a little later. You just have to have the wherewithal to wait a little bit, right? So that's my strat. That's how I keep myself sane. That's how I do it, man. I don't know either, Shibato. I don't even know either. Yeah, he says, person you talked to once who put all their savings into making a first chapter of a webcomic, real professional looking, and they even made merch, just got no real traction, so has been sitting at one chapter forever. Yeah. Instead, what you should do is pay an artist to make your OCs, assuming you're not the artist, and then just, like, get art of them. Don't even make the comic. Do not make the comic. Just get a bunch of, like, art of them interacting and post it on Twitter, and people might like your OCs. And that will, like... you could get, like, a bajillion more billion Twitter posts out of the same money that you put into an entire chapter 1 of a comic. And then maybe if people like that enough, which happens more often if it's advertised properly, then they'll be like, now can you make a comic? Yeah, one-off comics. Yeah, exactly. You can make, like, little 4-panel ones instead of doing, like, a whole full chapter thing. Something without backgrounds, you know, like that kind of stuff. It does a lot more. So you can always take your idea and do like a little version of it and then build it later, you know? Know what I mean? So the all-in cost, gross wages, 401k match, employer medical, unemployment tax, Medicare tax, employer social security tax, other benefits for a corporate professional is about twice their gross salary. So someone making 150k needs 300k in revenue to offset the cost of employing them. Yep. Yup. The little doubling rule is like the quick way to do it. It's rough, man. It is very true. It is very true. Jeff Jacques has been doing the 4-panel comic strip for 20 years, has been super successful. Yeah, you just got to pick something sustainable, and then if it works, then, like, you know, later you can make your comic. That's where I'm at with like animation. My like passion project, I'd love to do some sort of animation. It doesn't even have to be like a full episodic thing. I just want to do like one long animated video. That's what I want. I have never been like, let me actually go do that right now, because I'm aware of the costs. It's crazy. So instead, I'm going to do like tiny animatics, which is when you don't actually frame by frame animate too many parts of it. It's mostly just like stills and stuff. I've done little bits of that here and there. I have a bunch of like little art things I'm going to do that are already set up. There you go. I'm just going to do all these little bits and eventually maybe fund that thing later if I could. That's it. Want the animation to be 2D or 3D? 2D. That's the problem. 2D is so expensive. It's frame by frame drawn. It's so, ooh. 3D is a lot more accessible because you can use like the same model and then just apply animations to it. So you're not like redrawing everything. The art budget is like not so bad, but yeah. But yeah, I want to do that. I need to grab people like Moki in the chat there to like do more like small, lower level animations and things for like fun Twitter posts and stuff. So if I can't have my whole video because funding that would be like nutty, I could at least do like more frequent small animated posts and stuff. You know? Yeah, Geega made his animated movie. I don't even... Did he say how much that cost him? Did he talk about the budget? It gets crazy. It gets insane for that. 3D is good though, yeah. Like you do spend a lot getting the 3D models and everything. But if you keep using it, you can save so much in the long term. So much. Well into the 6, yeah. It's nutty to me. I can't even imagine. Oh, it's times like this when I'm like, man, this is what like random ass VCs and investors are for. You'll be like, let's make an anime, and they'll be like, yeah, here's $1 million, you know. And then you know it won't make money, and then you can never pay them back, and they get pissed, but whatever. You know, their fault for investing. Oh, to be a failed investment. How nice it would be. How nice it would be. Oh, to be a failed investment. Imagine all the money you could spend on yourself. Oh, imagine. Oh, imagine. I've never been part of a thing while the money was good, so, you know. Never gotten that experience of being like, yeah, I could throw $1 million at an animation. But it'd be so cool, man. It'd be so cool. If any investors want to invest and have no guarantee for an ROI, I'm here. I'm right here, dude. I'm literally right here. Most VCs know they probably won't get their money back. Oh, I know. That's literally how it works. They invest in like 10 different things, and they're like, if one of these works, we'll make our investment back on all of them. So like, they're fully aware. This is why I can clown on like the esports model all I want and be like, yeah, esports team don't make money, haha, blah, blah, blah. They just get held up by investments. There will always be people in chat who are like, oh, why do they keep investing? And I'm like, well, because they invest in like 20 different things, and like they only need one to work. That's how this works, you know. And this is why like esports teams and orgs and you know, corpos and things, they keep like taking investment, because if yours doesn't work, depending on your contract, that's it. You just close the company and be like, whoops, anyway. And you still got your salary for however many years. You know what I mean? Like that model has always been the case in tech. So I'm right here is all I'm saying. If an oil prince wants to come in and be like, yo, here's $1 million to make your anime, give me a tiny merch cut from it, and then like we never sell much merch, hey, I'm right here. You know, I'm right fucking here. I'll do the project. That's the thing, is I will deliver the project no matter what. No matter what. Gotta get the eye of one big whale that wants to sponsor you. Yeah, well, it's not like if you're talking about like normal high donor to a streamer kind of person, that's not enough for that shit. I'm talking like something investments LLC, you know, some like crazy company thing would be the budget needed for the kind of shit that I'm thinking of. Yeah, Wolfie, I agree. I've seen that shit. It's very, I mean, it works for them. It works for them, so. It is what it is. All they care about is that you're honest. If you're like, hey, I did the project, I did the work that I promised, and it didn't make money. They're like, okay, well, you tried. That's what they care about. As long as you held up your end of the bargain, you know? Whales don't normally have 7 figures lying around. Yeah, no. And I'd be really concerned if I had one individual that was like just a stream donor, and they came in and started giving me 6 figures. I'd be really concerned, you know? I'd be like, is this okay? Are you, number one, are you real? Number 2, are you all right? Number 3, are you gonna email me 3 years from now and expect me to like meet with you or some shit? Like, you know what I mean? I've seen how that shit goes. I'd be worried. I'd be genuinely very worried. So, you know. Like, it's nice if people act... there are some people that do actually have, like, crazy disposable income and they just like to help. That is true. But, like, how do you know? How do you vet that? How do you know that the guy donating 10K to you isn't just, like, on a bender, you know? and that's his last 10K that he shouldn't be spending, but he has no self-control. Like, how do you actually know? Because he could type in chat and be like, oh, it's fine. I work whatever job. Oh, I'm a trust fund, baby. It's fine. But, like, how do you actually know? You know? So it's nice, but there's always that little worry in the back of my mind where I'm like, I hope they can actually do this. You know? My 3rd marriage just failed. Remember the 200K I gave you? Yeah, and the thing is, like, there are plenty that are genuine. Like, they actually are like, no, I have disposable income, so this shit ain't nothing to me. Here, have it, because I want to help. Those exist. It's just... it's hard to know which is which. And there's some that you can figure it out. Like, the vibes are good. And those are the ones that I'll be, like, you know, nice and normal to, because, like, I feel like they're okay, right? They're not in a bad spot, and I'm not enabling them in a bad spot. They're just chilling. But some you can't tell, man. Get that worry even when it's only $50. I don't think you should for that. I mean, if someone's impulsive and they're spending their last $50, I mean, that sucks, but that can be recovered from. You know? That can be recovered from. When it's like 500 plus and you don't know them that well, they haven't typed in your chat much, so you're not really sure anything about them, that's when I'm like, oh, is this okay? Like, you know. I love this song, by the way. Katamari Damacy. Anyway, sorry. The VOD watcher is going to be like, what the fuck are you listening to? It's my favorite because the guy just goes in a terrible accent and starts singing. Oh. It's King of Kings from We Love Katamari. Katamari Damacy. Oh. Why does it say I can still pre-order from the Twilight Bundle? I'm gonna ask them what day they're taking it down. So they got the day and time off a little bit, or like miscommunication on both sides. And I told you guys it was still up for a day when it wasn't. So they were like, "Hey, don't worry, we'll open it back up for pre-order for a couple days, so that like people don't miss it." And I said, "Okay," but I don't know when exactly they're taking it down. I thought it might already be down, but if it's not, it's not. I think they were actually. I told them they could take it down anytime. I think they were waiting on Mouse to confirm if she had a date. Yeah. So until they get told by Mouse and her team, okay, it's time. I'll actually tell them. There we go. It will probably be down incredibly soon if you don't get something literally now. But I think everyone who did want to did. Oh my god. That's crazy. You said you had a friend in an abusive situation who was going to donate his life savings to a streamer so that she wouldn't get any before he ended it all. He did in the end, but it's a real thing to be sus about. Yeah, I think stories like that are like not common, not frequent, but you never know, right? You never know. So that's why it's like, I don't know, at least if they talk more, like you can have a better finger on the pulse of if they like maybe are like not, they shouldn't be doing this or not. But when it's someone who like doesn't talk much, you don't know. You just have no clue, man. You just have no clue. So I'm always wary. That kind of story is a whole YouTube genre. It doesn't happen often. It's just when it does, it's super sensational. So people like to, you know, pull those stories together and talk about them. Yeah, I hope they're good now. I mean, it says something good about their character that they're like, I just want to give what I have left to someone who like I watched a lot, brought me enjoyment, right? Like that's very nice. And you think people like that have a good chance to make it through it. Like if they have that thought in their mind, when you know someone's in a really bad spot is when they're not even doing that, right? They're like, I don't even care anymore. They don't even think about that stuff. They just give some stuff away and they don't really care who it goes to. That's usually how you know they're in a bad spot. But if they have the thought in them to be like, oh, let me make sure this gets to so-and-so. Oh, let me make sure that, you know, this goes to this person or blah, blah, blah. Like, and they're really thinking about that kind of stuff. You have a good chance of pulling them out of a bad spot, I feel. You know? You definitely do. So, hope they're good now, but I feel like just based off of that, you can tell they probably are doing better. You know? I'm going to donate everything if it's my divorce, but you give me back half after the split. Oh, man. He's married to one of my best friends. They met through that same streamers community, both happy and good now. Yeah. Yeah, you can tell, like, when people have a really good chance of getting to a good place is when they are, like, even when they're at their lowest, they're like, oh, let me make sure I give this to someone who, like, really helped me. Or, you know what I mean? Like, when they're still thinking about that type of stuff, that you know they're going to make it out of it for sure. And if they're not, they still have hope. It's just like, you know, they might need a little more help. But that kind of stuff is like a good sign, you know? My dad practiced family law for 42 years, 28 as a divorce attorney, 13 as a judge. That kind of stuff is not uncommon, unfortunately. Yes and no. Yes and no. But yeah, it's it's more common than people think, for sure. I have a friend who works as a divorce attorney. She went into law, and that was like the thing that she wanted to do because there was, you know, like a lot of space for it, and not enough like women as divorce attorneys. She felt like, so she wanted to do it, and she, you know, as much as she can within her legal rights, will tell me like stories about cases and things, especially once they go public. They're like a public case. She'll tell me a lot of these stories about divorce cases that she does, and some of them are just absolutely insane. Actually, truly insane. Yeah, she'll always have work. It's crazy, man. I don't know. I think just don't get married. I think marriage is a great thing, and I'm very traditional in like, you know, you should do all the traditional stuff. But you should take your time with it, dude. A lot of people like rush into it, or they have kids too fast. They're worried about the clock ticking, you know, et cetera, or they do things when they're not ready to. And I'm like, brother. Or the thing is like, how do I say this? Not when they're not ready to, is then they're not old enough or they need to wait longer. I mean, like, they don't know anything. They don't know anything. And I think having a kid in like the 80s, for example, there was less you needed to know. Yeah, you need to know about childcare, but there was less you needed to worry about in the world to like swat away from your child and stuff, you know? Nowadays, there's a lot more. And things are more complex than they ever used to be. And more time consuming than they ever used to be. And you just need to spend time seriously thinking about it. You don't need to be 30. You could even get married and have kids before 25. You're going to be fine as long as you try to make work. But you have to sit down and really try to prep yourself and treat it like work. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people don't treat their marriage like a thing to work toward anymore. I feel like. Which is good and bad. I think it comes from good reasons. So back in the day, a lot of people got married to get married, knowing that they were going to have to make this work a little bit, right? Like it was not an ideal, perfect love story. It was, I need to get married to somebody so they don't make fun of me and call me a spinster. I'm going to pick this available person who seems okay, right? And then like from there, they had to really make it work. And that was a lot of the mindset. And I know media makes it look romanticized like it wasn't like that. But if you talk to older relatives, it was like that, you know? But nowadays, it's very like you get married for love and it will just work. is what media has portrayed for a long time. And I think people are like actually doing that now. And not many of them are like treating it as a thing you have to actually work hard at. And I don't know. I don't know if that's just not. Is media the problem? Is parents not training people up to be like that the problem? I think a lot of boomer parents, especially, you know, we're on the tail end of that marrying people because you just have to kind of thing. So they maybe didn't teach their kids that stuff because they were like, oh, you can just, or maybe they want it better for them. Oh, just get married to someone you love. You know what I mean? And it's like, they don't want you to make the same mistakes they did, or maybe they're on the front end of being able to just marry for love and it's fine, and they tell you, oh, it's okay because they haven't seen the bad effects of that, etc. I don't know. It just seems like nowadays people rush into shit and then they don't like work toward it. You know, everything's the other person's fault and blah 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 blah, right? People needing weddings as a proof of love is just an insecurity issue. This is true. Though then again, if you've just looked forward to it your whole life, I get really wanting it. I get it. You know, people get married way later now. I personally, I don't think the earliness or lateness is the issue. I actually think people should be maybe trying to get married and have kids a little earlier. That's just me. I know not financially it's not always possible, but like from a social standpoint, I think earlier is actually better. Having children while you're younger, being able to be younger for them is I think a nice life experience later in life. That's just me.
My parents taught me two things. Marriage is a bad idea and so are children.
Facts. No, I think that's good, but I think the bigger issue is more the attitude is what I'm saying. It's the attitude of going into this because I'm here to like work and not like, oh, I love them so it'll just work out. You know what I mean? There's studies strongly suggesting that babies are born healthier on average to younger parents. Oh yeah, no, that's fully supported. That is very, very, very supported. And we know this. But I'm also saying I think raising them while you're younger is nice. Nice. I've seen people in my family do both. I've seen people get married and have kids young and get married and have kids older. And I think looking at it, if I had to pick which is better on average, not always, assuming money permitting, I think younger is actually better. Personally. Yeah, being 28 with two kids versus being 35 with two kids, not a huge difference, but pretty different. And keep in mind, a lot of people are waiting even more now. It's rougher. Being able to be there through more of your children's adult life and not leaving them so soon is also like a big factor, I think. So yeah, I think like mid-late 20s is great. If you can do it later, because that's all you got, that's fine. But I think if you have the option, I wouldn't rush it on purpose, like when you can't. But if it's possible, I think it's better. Personally. Yeah, agreed. You said 28-year-old couch potato versus 35-year-old person who lifts is also a big swing. Stay healthy for your kids. 100% as well. Better from an advice perspective. My parents are both more than 40 years older than me, so the world I grew up is not the world I live in. Yes. I think having less of an age gap with your parents is huge in how you get along with them. You can still get along with them well, no matter what age they are, but like the way in which you understand each other can be very different the closer you are in age. And I think being younger, being able to connect with your children better is like a huge factor, a huge factor. Because I know a lot of people that have parents that are closer to them in age versus further. And I see the correlation really heavily. I really do. I really do. My dad's a man-child who was 40 when I was born. It's not about being a man-child. It's about when you were raised, being raised in an era closer to the era that your child's being raised in, right? But when the era you were raised during is so far separated, your worldview is so insanely different. It can still be worked with. You can still have an amazing relationship with older parents. But I think one is objectively, on average, better for how likely you are to, like, understand your child. You know? But, again, that depends on the person, because I do know people who are very old and have young kids and still connect with them well because they try. Right? And this is what I'm getting at too. No matter what, I think the big thing is less than age. It's more important to just try. Like, treat this like work. Don't just be like, oh, it's going to work out. But I don't know. I keep seeing this when I talk to IRL people, I see this big attitude of like, it'll just work out. It's fucked up. Fucked up. Yeah, Max talked about it fondly with him when him and JJ had Ripley. He hated getting winded after trying to play with his daughter, so he started working out and trying to improve his life all over. Yeah. I was lucky that I had like a really fit dad. And you know, he would play with me and he would run around and very athletic, you know, so he would do all these things and we'd go do all these things together and we'd have a great time. And he had all the energy in the world to keep up with me. And I would turn sometimes and look at a friend whose dad could not keep up with them. And I would see that that friend spent way less time with said dad. Their dad would watch them play sports, but wouldn't play with them as much, you know, things like that. And they would still be there for them. But it's like, you know, being able to directly do those things with your kid is very different. So I always felt pretty lucky about that. Pretty good about that. Mental energy for kids more than the physical energy. I think it's both. I think both go hand in hand, very much so. I think when you're healthier and you have more physical energy, you end up with more mental capacity to get shit done. Genuinely. And I think treating both as important is what you need to do, straight up. Who would have thought that health is more than just mental or physical? Who would have thought? It's both. I noticed you inspired the Trash Mobs V card. Inspired. That is owned by the Trash Mobs IP, which is under me. But yeah, that's our card. So do we think we'll get a full Geega card soon? You'll see if we do or don't. You'll see. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. I don't know. But it looks good. It was really annoying. I couldn't, like, legally promote it previously. I couldn't legally promote the card when we did the Trash Mobs one, and I could only do Trash Mobs. I couldn't do, like, my own IP previously. But now that I am, like, not sponsored by specific companies and things, it is, like, not an issue anymore. So thank God I can mention it now. It was genuinely torturous. I felt so bad that I could not sit here on stream and advertise to you guys that we had a Trash Mobs card, like, in the set, because some of you would have liked to know about that, but I legally could not. So, and the set comes out and then at some point it's not on sale anymore. And some people were like, oh my God, I didn't even know you had a Trash Mobs card. And I'm like, yep. Well, surprise. Surprise. You guys could talk about it in the Discord and that would be fine. So some of you mentioned it, which was really, really helpful. But yeah, I couldn't say it at the time. So much freedom. So much freedom. And shocked when I saw the V-card Twitter, but you didn't mention anything. You knew something was off. Yeah. Yeah. It was one of the only things that was like that. But, yeah, I'm just glad I can, do that now. So free. So free. Wish they were in stock always because I missed every single pre-order window they've ever had. Yeah, but that's the whole point. It's a like collectible trading card game kind of thing, you know? So it's like, that's how it is. I am in the boxes that I opened 2 so far. I have a third. I gave one to a friend, and then I have a third one that I'm going to open at some point. I'm going to sit around with friends and just open those cards and see what we get. Every time I get the Hot Pot card, which is our Trash Mobs one, I'm going to take it and sign it. Actually, let me see. I'll show you. Let me grab it. Card gallery. We have hot pot. Here's what it looks like. They got their watermark all over it. This one is the base card. That's the normal version. It's a support card. And then we got the special art if you get like the secret rare. And there's also a box topper version that's like full art with no border. That's the special art one. Ew. I don't think anyone, yeah, no, they haven't reported it. No one has gotten the God Rare so far. When you get a God Rare, it's like full art. It's got a lot of like gold on it usually. It's a whole thing. But I like that, oh, it also has the creator signature on it. But you'll see. If someone reports it, they'll report it. But I like that they will only show it if someone has found the God Rare and then has like reported it in. So you don't get to see what it looks like until it's found and reported on the site, which is cool. So it actually is like an ultra secret whatever until it's shown. It'd be funny if you had the God card in your box. Brother, I want my own God Rare, but I also feel like that's so selfish to get my own God Rare card. I really want the Trash Rob's God Rare. I do. I do have this unopened box here too. I do. I do indeed. But yeah, if you get any God Rares from VCard, you gotta report it in so that they know. You gotta do it. Didn't Connor get Lime's God Rare and they give it to her at a con? Yeah. He pulled her God Rare, which was crazy because there's only one. There's only one. So. But yeah, the unopened box, I mean, it's right next to me. It's like in my shelf over here. But I was going to open it with some friends, so. Not yet. I'll let you know. Hopefully soon. You have a bunch of boxes you still haven't opened. Brother, open them! Open them. What if you have a God Rare? They actually go for crazy amounts, too. Hold on. It's like a Pokemon Gold card. Let me see. eBay. Ooh, there's some unopened Gold God packs? What is this? Oh, is the pack gold when it contains a God Rare? Or is it like... How does that work? I only know about the cards themselves. I don't know how the packs work like that. V-card, God Rare. You can get a rare pack in the box that contains shit tons of rare cards, I see. Holy! Ray? Okay, Ray Narvaez Jr. Someone got his God Rare signed card, support, let's play, $2,000 or best offer. Holy. Heavenly Father 1100. The one that's craziest to me is Egg over Easy Eggs. Egg's card goes for 10K right now. That's insane. That is insane. Not too many people selling too many of them right now because the people that have bought them up are mostly like the actual collectors that want to keep them now rather than people like trying to resell, but whew. That is crazy. I think if I got my own God Rare, I think I would probably auction it. I'd probably like, because I'd kind of want to keep it so I'd start it high, but I would auction it and then just use that for booths forever. That's what I would do. I'd auction it and then have that cover like my costs of booths. That's straight up it. Yo, or put it toward my new cat cafe named Pussy Pussy. Cat cafe / drag Venue? Venue question mark? I guess is the word. Would you or the mods be down for a giveaway? One of each said if you get your own. Probably. Probably. Do V-Tippers not get their own versions of cards? You get a version of everything. You just don't get the God Rare. They do give us everything. So for Hot Pot, and they sent it to me in like the hard plastic case, everything. So not even like a normal top loader, but like the snap close case, you know. I have those over there for the Hot Pot card. So I have the artist version, which is the one where it's full art, there's no borders, and it has the artist signature on it. And I have the secret rare. Like whatever the rarest version of it is besides God Rare, they'll give you that as well. So I have like the box topper, the artist version, the secret rare. They sent me those. So that is secured. I'm not worried about having the card in general. But the God Rare is a one of one. So they don't just send that to every creator, right? Because then what's the point in them existing? Instead, those are actually just in the packs. So I'm very curious to see who ends up with my God Rare for Hot Pot. I want to know. I want to see it too, because I didn't get to like see what it looks like, you know? No one really gets to see what it looks like until it's opened. And I want to know. I want to know. You didn't sign it? It's not hand signed because then the ink would get all fucked up. So you sign, and then they do a nice gold foil print of your signature on there. Yeah, because if you did sign it with like a gold Sharpie or whatever, it would just like rub off. It gets kind of shitty. It doesn't stay on with the way the cards are like laminated. So instead they do you do your signature for them, like a real signature, and then they like print that in gold, which I like. That's why for the Hot Pot cards, I was actually just going to Sharpie sign them, because some people, they put a lot of value on, like, your hand touched this card, this was the pen you used, and not a printed on signature. Like, some people care about that. I personally don't, because from my end, it's like the same process, right? I still sign this, so whether you see the printed on version of it or like the literal Sharpie ink, it doesn't matter to me. I feel like it's the same thing from my perspective. But from your perspective, if it is, you know, then okay, I'll sign some stuff. Okay. So far, there's only one signed item. My signature is only on one item. And it's a book about cuttlefish, and Blazing has it. It's the only item I've ever signed, and it's a book about cuttlefish. I've never signed anything else. like in an in-person thing. I was keeping secret. I don't care. I don't care. It's not like they've seen it. It's not, and let them be jealous. It's the only item that I have ever physically signed that's out there. And it's not even out there. It's like in Blazing's house or whatever the fuck. The only thing we got. It's in the vault. Yeah. Yeah. You one or both of your cats have stepped on the cards, please? I thought about that. I thought about getting a little like, what's the word? The stamp pad, the ink pad for stamps, and like pressing their paws into it and stamping it on the on the thing. But they would hate it. They would hate it so much. I've thought about it though. I would like to do that in the future, potentially. Potentially, maybe. I have an unopened bar of Schmell, and I intend to get you signed one day. Well, the problem is, okay, I don't want to burst your bubble. I don't go anywhere. That's the problem. Thank you for the sentiment, though. But you're never going to, like, get me anywhere to be able to do that. And you also can't mail it to me because no one can mail me anything. Because I have myself locked down like fucking Alcatraz, you know? Nothing gets in or out. I was thinking about, like, maybe having, like, physically signed ones to then send out, though, if people wanted to, like, buy that. But if you have one you want to give to me to sign, it probably won't happen on that specific one, I would think. But maybe like, the opposite direction I might do, because I do want people to be able to have that stuff if they want it. What if we get a VC to invest in the Sinatron 9000? Brother, all you need is a CNC and a little software. It's not that crazy. You know, Kind of pissed though. I thought that was really cool, and everyone did it for a year and then stopped doing it. Everyone stopped doing the CNCs to do VTuber signatures. Why? Those were fun. Several people got signed things from me, like the digital signature from CNCs. Why did we stop doing that? I don't know why. Was it expensive to rent someone's CNC, maybe? They lost the pen, no joke. All it did was hold a Sharpie. I could ask some people and see. Did they at V Expo? Okay, so someone at least had them. I don't know, it just became like not popular to do anymore. I think we should have it. I think we need to do that again. They need to do it with industrial alarm with the safeties turned off. I'm telling you guys, the dap up machine, the Geega daps me up machine, we need it. We need to make it. No safeties too. It needs to hit you like a fucking truck, break your wrist, you know? Like, we need this thing IRL. Or I just get walked around on the iPad, but I just add like a hand. We just add a posed hand, and I'll be like, hey, dap me up. I need that. I need that. The dap me up machine. Get the hand from Jackass. Ooh, yeah. Yes. Let me see. Let me look into this. What are those? You can get those little posable hands that artists have, the little mannequin hands. Oh yeah, they're cheap. I could pose one of those. If I can't do the dap me up machine, just tape a hand. Not too bad. We'll see. Only need a CNC, like a CNC isn't 150K. Well, you don't need like a full industrial level CNC, like the ones that move in like the number of axes and shit, and like number of points, data points you can give it, whatever. You don't need that to do the signature. you just need one that does like X, Y, and moves up and down slightly. Yeah, the plotter, it's not, that thing is like not that crazy. It should be like 1K or less. That's why I'm surprised that people don't really do them.
Hey Oscar, get me a dap up on par with Geega's power level.
Oh yeah, and I just break your wrist. Easy. Easy. The 3D printed signature. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can use like any machine to do it. Really, anything that can move in 3 axes can do it. So I think we should bring it back. I think we should bring the signature bot back. Desk CNC is only 3K. Laser wood one's only like 400. That's what I'm saying. And if you like charged for a small fee for signatures, did a couple of cons, you could probably at least pay for the CNC. Right? Like, I don't love making people pay for stuff, but I'm like, if I'm like, guys, I bought this machine, signatures are $2, you know, to pay for the machine. Like, people will be like, okay, here's $2, you know? That's like nothing. So I think it could be done. Con only signature stickers pack. I have some ideas. I have some ideas for stuff that we could do. I do think printed signatures are still good though, because I don't know about you, I've had some signed items that people have signed with Sharpie, and depending on how you store it and how you do things, like it can rub off easily, especially if you're traveling, if you're doing airfare, right? Or paying airfare and you're getting on a plane, you're doing your whole thing, and you're shoving this poster that you got into maybe you don't have a tube for it, so you're putting it flat in your suitcase, and you're like, wow, I hope it doesn't, die. Let me put clothing up against it so it doesn't get, like, super bent. And the next thing you know, the Sharpie is rubbed off on all the clothing in transit, right? It gets a little, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. So I like the ones where you foil print it on. But it does lack the specialness of, like, oh, they held the pen and signed it. I don't know. Custom message, $10 per letter. I'm actually really surprised that people don't charge for things like that. Like when they do custom messages and they sign stuff and everything. Sometimes they do it for free. And I'm like, hey, man, the amount of time you spend total doing this is a couple of hours. At least make it like $2, you know, to pay for your time. It's one thing if you're a huge brand and you make $1 billion and you're like, I can afford to do this for free. But I see a lot of creators that don't make money doing that. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Make it $1. I don't know. Something, man. That's what most voice actors do. When you go to cons and you meet voice actors or like a performer, they all charge like, and they charge too much, I think, sometimes. Well, depends. Sometimes they're not bad. But I've seen some of them charge exorbitant fees, and I'm looking at that and I'm like, but we charge nothing? Nothing? I think you can go for a happy medium and go for like a low price, but still do something so that your time is paid for, you know? Because the other thing is that cons a lot of the time don't pay VTubers. They expect us to spend hours there, but they don't pay us if we're not physically there. Even if we're physically there, sometimes they don't pay us. You know? So they'll pay a VA an appearance fee, but then they won't pay a VTuber who's getting just as many guests to come by for them a lot of the time, if not more sometimes. I saw some people complaining on Twitter about this recently, but they're so right that like a lot of cons don't want to pay VTubers because they're like, oh, you can just call in, and I'm like, what? We're still spending time. Is it less time than someone traveling? Yes. So I get, you know, you can adjust, but like, what? I don't know. I think it's a little weird for them to like pay one and not the other. It'd be different if they didn't pay anybody and they're like, hey, guests, this is a volunteer thing. Then I'd be like, okay. I think that's totally fine. But the problem is that it's not even. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? No, they do it even for VAs that are non-union. They do it even for the non-union ones. Just if you're like a VA and you're a guest, you know, you usually get paid. Not always, but you usually do. If your appearance brings people to the con, you should get paid. That's what I think too. That's the whole point of guests, is they do it because then people go attend the con to see you. So they pay for the badge and the con makes money for you bringing people in, but then they don't pay you. I think that's very unfair. It's one thing if you're a small brand and they don't want to pay you a lot, whatever. Or you're appearing digitally, so they're like, well, I'm not going to cover a hotel room for you, whatever, so you're not going to get that in money. You're just not going to get it, right? Like, that's totally fair. But when you bring people in and they don't pay you, I'm like, that's kind of... If they didn't make any money from this, I'd be totally fine. But the way they make money from it, then they don't pay for the guests is a little crazy, I think. I don't even think they need to pay a lot either. It shouldn't be crazy, but something. Yeah, your fans might have come otherwise. Exactly. And then your people are there. They're paying for a hotel room, so the hotel is making money. They're paying for the badge, so the con is making money. They pay for food nearby, so the local area is just getting money. Your own fan does all of that, and you bring them in, and they end up helping all that stuff, but then they don't pay you. You know, that shit's kind of shitty. That's shitty. You have to pay for the iPad walk around? No, Oscar just does them. Oscar's very kind and just does them. That's why I brought him on as like a staff member for my booth and just paid for his trip and stuff to be there. Got that like covered. Like he had a hotel and everything. I made sure that was all covered for him and all that. So, you know, because I was like, I'm not gonna make you like pay for absolutely everything, right? But yeah. So I guess technically I do, but he doesn't make us pay, which is really nice of him. Yeah, he said, especially since you're not usually selling products to offset the cost of things like a booth and junk. Yeah, I think if cons didn't pay us, but then gave us a section to like sell merch, whatever, it's cool. The problem is the logistics of running your own booth are crazy, and it's genuinely not worth the money. I do it because I like projects like this, but I think for most people that have tried it, it's like horrific. and no con is going to be like, yeah, we'll sell one item for you, because the licensing deal with all of that is a whole can of worms. So for me, that's maybe a good deal, because I do it, yeah, for the love of the game. But I think for most people, it's not worth it, really. You don't make enough money back from a booth merch sales as like a singular VTuber or even like a group of 3, you just don't make enough money back to warrant all the money you have to pay for everything. So let's say they give you the booth space for free. You still have to pay for all of the graphics and banners, whatever that go up there. Then you have to pay for staff. You have to give them money for the weekend to be there. And it's usually many staff. It's not one guy. Then you also have to pay for their travel and hotel rooms. And if that's multiple people, right there, the cost gets crazy. It balloons, you know? And then there's also a lot of hidden costs, but those are like the obvious ones. Also, all of the art to make the merch, you have to buy every bit of art plus commercial rights to get that. And you have to make and print and whatever, all of the merch beforehand because it has to physically be at the con. There's no pre-order period, which is not how people do it. Usually they do pre-orders. They never like lose on merch like that. But when you do a booth, you have to buy all of that. So the overhead, the upfront is crazy. And then you put it out there and maybe it gets sold. A lot of it won't too, right? Unless you're like the god of predictions. So that is a lot. You know, that is a lot. You also have to ship all that merch to that location and then back, which, you know, if anything is left, which is its own cost. So the booth racks up a lot of costs to begin with. So that's why a lot of people, like, you know, we'd love to do merch at cons, but it becomes a whole thing. You hear the artist alley is almost always a net loss. It depends. It depends. I think for VTubers it is. Yeah. It is. And that's why, yeah, that's why a lot of artists share split booths. Not every con lets you do that, but some do. And that's why you'll see like 2 or 3 artists put their stuff out at one booth together. Because otherwise it's just like, you know, all the hidden costs balloon stuff up like crazy. Even if you did sell it all, you probably wouldn't make your money back unless you're doing super expensive pieces. Yeah. You're really just like advertising yourself. And if you have stuff that people buy online later, it might work out. But yeah, it's not really like the money you make that weekend at the booth is good. You know, it's not really that good. Just is what it is. It is what it is. So I do it because I love creating an experience for people to show up to. And I'm like trying to get it to like maybe break even, maybe with auctioning stuff off after and all that. But that's kind of it, you know? Booths are spendy, asked Dust. Yeah, and Dust has a really good way of doing it because she brings the same stuff to every con. Like the same physical setup and everything. So she's done the upfront costs and then uses them for the rest of the year, you know, as much as she can without repurchasing stuff. But yeah, I think the only people that make money are the ones that do that. They do like 10, 20 cons in a year, right? and they have their stuff for the year and then they shop around everywhere. And they usually do their booths themselves. Like Dust, she sits at her booth and she's physically there all day, every day. You know, she doesn't really hire in like a lot of staff or anything. So that's the only reason she like makes it work. It's a grind. So as much as I love doing the VTuber booth thing, and I'll keep doing it with friends, whatever, it's very much not for profit. It's for the love of the game. Right? That's the most important part. Said I want to attend a con, have hidden merch on me, and be like Khajiit has wares as I open my code. Oh, Moki, it would be crazy if you have like special cards that you're selling, and you're like, it's me, the artist Moki, and you pull your jacket open. Oh, it'd be so cool. If they find out, they'll kick you out. But oh, I hope it works, man. I hope it works. I wish you luck. I wish you luck. Yeah, you said the booth people have to know everything about the tech setup in case literally anything goes wrong. Saw VTuber's smaller con, something went wrong with the display. Her booth guy immediately turned into IT. Yeah, it's crazy. I really like my staff that I had. They were very, very, very helpful and did a great fucking job. Very familiar with all of the tech setup part of it. So we ended up having like no crazy issues. But if I didn't have them and I had like bozos on site who were great at the booth stuff but didn't know how to do the tech stuff, it would have been it would have been bad. They were so full of crayons. They were so full. Having done work for a booth at events, it's more work than people realize it is. Yeah, the setup and teardown, dude, I just want to say again, this community was the community that went when Matara's booth did her TwitchCon thing. She did a TwitchCon booth, and my community went and helped her pack up her booth with some of her staff, but some of them were like leaving early. You know, their flights were when they were. So this community went and just helped pack up the booth and load the truck because it is so much fucking work, and they just did that shit. It was incredible. And having so many hands meant that no one was doing crazy backbreaking work because everyone was spreading it out. So it was very nice. It was very, very nice. Many thanks. Very appreciated. Very appreciated. But I'll let you guys know. I wanna plan the 2026 circuit. But unfortunately, cons don't always let you know when your booth is happening until like 2-3 months before. Sometimes I'm trying to get the earliest possible answers I can. But it's like it's a process. It's a whole fucking process. So we'll see. But I want to continue doing my thing. We'll see what happens. Anyway, no one has used the wrap it up emote once since I mentioned it earlier in the stream to tell me to start playing a game. And this was a test. We're now 3 hours in. This was a test and you all failed. Every single one of you. Every single one of you. You all forgot. This was a test and I said today I'm just going to talk for a few hours and see if any of them tell me to wrap it up, and none of you did. Not a single one of you. Also, in case you didn't notice, the collab didn't happen, which is fine. We were supposed to... I even started early for this, which is funny. We were supposed to do a collab with Booster and some friends. But he wants to test something with the server for it, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, can we do this a different day? And I said, sure thing. So we're not going to kill Boost for today. We'll kill him another day. I started early anyway, which is fine. I don't really mind that. Said I like the chatting section. I didn't use it with malicious intent. My God. I thought we were waiting on Booster. But I never said that. No one asked. No one asked, so you assumed. No, we're going to kill him another day, though. He's setting some fun stuff up. He wanted to do a challenge. I got to figure out exactly how we're doing it. But I think we're doing like a peak challenge, but like we have to all try to kill him. We have to let him not get to the top or something like that, which is going to be fun. So we might mod it a little bit, which is fun because I like peak, but like I want to do something interesting in it rather than just climb. Like let's up the stakes a little bit. But yeah. So we're gonna do it like that. We're gonna do it like that where we like try to kill Booster. Yeah, competitive peak. It's way more fun. Clap hoops, welcome. Welcome on in.